Welcome back, everybody. This is your boy Sega Man with the crew on deck. Man, we already got the chat that's on fire, man. Welcome to the new podcast, the Outlaws of Xbox podcast with the crew. We got our brother, Other Zinc, Tuckmaster in here. We'll probably have Unlimited joining us soon. He just got done doing a podcast. Man, I didn't even know about that with our brother E-Rock. And maybe they'll grace us and join us, in a little bit. You know what I mean? So, and maybe we'll have Hebot come in if he's not too busy. Actually, I got a message from E-Rock and he said, okay, Tuck, so send him a link, man. When you get a chance, send him a link. He just said he wants to come in, man. Okay, and then Unlimited said he'll be here soon. All right, man. So let me introduce my panel, man. And let's see who we got first up, man. Other Zinc, brother. Hey, man, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me representing people like Deploy, Gogol Poe, Xbox All In, Rain G4. I represent the chat 100%.
Yes.
And it's going to be an awful day for Sony people.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Michael Pachter jumped off the ledge and just elbow smashed Destin in his sitting on the fence ass face. That's what I'm doing today.
Nice, brother. Nice. And Tuck, man, tell the people where they can find you, man.
Well, let me go ahead and just start the show. I'm going to go ahead and send them an invite right now. But everybody know who I am.
All right, brother. All right,
everybody know who I am. Hey, man, boy, this is your boy DJ Tuckmaster 785, the original Pony Killer. Let's get on ahead and just get this damn show in. And like I said, the original Pony Killer. Let's get this shit going on, man.
All right. And before we start, let me give a big shout out to the chat because they're very important. Very important to the podcast, man. Let's give a big shout out to the chat first. We're gonna give a shout out to our brother Rain G4, Gogol Poe. What's up, brother? All in. Sega Forever. Hey, Sega Forever, if you're still in the chat, brother, if you want to come in and join us, I'll send you a link. Just let me know in the description box below. I'll send you a link also, man. So let's give another shout out to our brother Deploy 619. What's up, brother? How are you? Thanks for joining us, man. Brother Unlimited said he'll be here soon. JJ, he says, I hope so. I hate Sony. So big shouts out to him. Big shouts out to my brother Anthony Chipmunk in the building. Yo, Tony. What's up, Tone? Anthony, aka Anthony. What's up, man? Big shouts out to him. Man, I'm glad that y'all can join us, man. The title of this podcast is called Is This the Death of Sony? We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. All the stuff that's been going on lately with them crying. Me and Zink are going to get into it about the show with Michael Pachter and Dustin crying ass Legary. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a couple other things also, man. We're going to get into it here, and talk about some of those things. And Tuck got some things he want to say too, man. So we're going to get the show rolling. Hey, Tuck, man, did you get the link out to him, brother?
No, I haven't got it yet, but I'm working on it.
You working on it now? All right. Well, let's start with me. Let's start with me and my brother Zink, man. Zink, brother. Hey, man, I finally went back and I watched the Michael Pachter interview with Dustin Legary because Sega Forever was like, man, you guys got to watch the video. You got to see the little podcast they had. So I went back and watched it from beginning to end this morning, Zink, with my coffee, bro. And let me tell you something, man. Man, I'm going to tell you, Dustin Legary was trying his damnedest to try to damage control what Sony is doing out here, man, in these gaming streets. And Michael Pachter was answering his ass pretty swiftly, bro. I really enjoyed it because of Michael Pachter just giving him that truth. You know what I mean? What did you think, Zink?
Okay, man. It was like this, man. I mean, it was I've heard Michael Pachter go off before, but this one was poignant. This one had venom. It was like, like we were on another show. Sometimes we jump on TTS with Sean and Dirt, and Deploy 619 went off. He went berserk.
Oh, he did?
Dude. Hey, man, this joker went straight nuts. I mean, he pulled Zinc and E-Rock. I mean, it was venomous. That's what Pachter did. It was amazing. And Destin would always try and come up with something. You know,
Yeah.
something like he even pulled this shit out of his ass. He said, Sony, you know, he referenced in so many words, Sony could do this day and date with their PS Plus. They had one game go in their service day one, and it was Stray. And it did very well, but they don't want to admit that. Destin, that game didn't do shit, dude. Shut your dumb ass up. And see, this is the thing, man. They don't know what it takes to run Game Pass. They think
Mhm.
people think you could just drop anything in a service like that, but it doesn't operate like that. It has no way of replenishing funds. Okay, it doesn't. The games that Microsoft have in there, it's just that reoccurring value that I keep talking about, the reoccurring profits that come right back into the fold to be dispersed elsewhere. And here's the demise of Sony. Here's what happens. First of all, Microsoft gave the world a blueprint of how to destroy Sony. Nobody sees this, but if that's what your area of study is, yeah, you see it. It's right there in your face. What they did is, like, people, here's a good one, guys. They say, well, how could you, Microsoft? It would be foolish for Microsoft to totally disregard Sony and not put it on their service. Sony they cannot be think that Call of Duty needs Sony. No, you need Call of Duty. They can
Right, right,
survive without you. Here's
right.
the thing. Here's so everybody can understand this. There are 125 million Nintendo Switch units. No, they don't have Call of Duty. They have 25 million Nvidia, whatever that service is they have. They're going to get Call of Duty. Valve doesn't have Call of Duty with their service. They're going to get Call of Duty. You subsidize Call of Duty right there. Then when Call of Duty goes into Game Pass, it drops to 30 million people in Game Pass. Sony knows that they're done. What that's going to do, it subsidizes Sony's loss if they wanted to get out, and they're going to keep them. They're going to get money from Sony, so Sony's going to get less of a profit margin than they were getting earlier. Then what happens with that? It's like watering down a good beverage. You have
Yeah.
like a nice drink, and it's like somebody dumping water in it and diluting its power. Now it's going to be spread across all of this that I just explained here, and what's going to be the end, the catastrophe that surrounds it. It's going to end in um, less console sales, less controller sales, less peripheral sales. It's going to be less income coming in because you don't have a secret year-long stage or something, or
Yeah.
whatever your exclusive rights were gone. All of these things are gone. So your revenue is cut. Your profits are severely cut. And this, it's like if you have a two-income household and they cut your hours from 60 down to 35 and your wife lose her job. That's what Sony is looking at. Goodbye, Sony. Let's
Yeah,
see
man.
what you could do with that. So yeah, that's what they're getting. That's why Sony is so desperate, and they are desperate. Oh, well, go ahead. We'll stay on Destin, but another beautiful one to see is Marlon Gaming had a meltdown. He had an
Oh
epic
man.
meltdown, dude. I mean, epic. Hey, did you send E-Rock a link yet?
I sent him the link, but for some reason, tell him that it's in his Instagram.
Hey, okay. Well,
He said can't get in tuck, link not working as usual.
hey, I might disappear for
Okay.
a second if it happens, but I think I know how to send it to E-Rock.
Try
But
again.
keep on.
Tell him it's in Instagram.
Yeah, tell him that it's in his Instagram.
Hey, E-Rock, it's in your Instagram on your Paco Hewler computer, bro. It's in Instagram, man. If you can get in through dial-up. If you can't, let me know in the chat, brother E, and we'll get you in, bro. We'll get you in. You know. But what were you saying, Zing?
No, that was it. You could hand it over to Tuck. I'm going to see if
all right.
I could get E-Rock in here.
Hey, Tuck, brother, man. Hey, yo, man. I watched the show, man. You know, with Michael Pachter and Dustin Laguerre. You know what I mean? And man, let me tell you what, Tuck. It seemed like he was really trying to damage control, man, hard. Dustin was trying to damage control with Michael Pachter, but it wasn't working, man. It just wasn't working. I was cracking up, man. I watched it from beginning to end, man. And he was saying how Sony is stupid. They have dumb business practices, just all kind of things that they're really messing up on, brother, when it comes to this, this deal and this acquisition, with the Activision Blizzard thing. So I want to get your thoughts on it, bro. What you think?
Well, I'll put it like this, y'all. Michael Pachter opened up a can of worms on their ass and let their ass know straight up the truth. And the truth is when it comes down to it, Sony cannot compete with Microsoft at the end of the damn day. When this shit go through, Sony has lost all their power.
Yeah.
As far as us calling them the game leaders and all that stuff, they're not the game leaders of nothing. They can talk about all the damn consoles that they have out there. Don't mean shit. They're not. These Sony people is not playing their games, and we know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And like I always have said, look at what has Sony done in the last 27 odd years. They have closed down studios. Instead of them just keeping them damn studios open, like Steelcom. You know what I mean? Because Steelcom, when Steelcom first came out, it was a pretty good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty good shooter, and all they had to do was baby it and keep it afloat. But they decided to shut the shit down. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the reason why they don't have any true shooters, man. Let's just basically just call it this. They don't have any basic true shooters.
They don't.
Besides Call of Duty, and that's it.
The last shooter they had was Counter-Strike. That was it.
And that was it. And I don't even think that was theirs, was it?
No, Counter-Strike is not theirs.
No, so really, there's nothing that they really.
You're right, Zink. You're right, man. I used to think it was theirs. You're right.
No.
So in other words, something that they really haven't made on their own.
So they never really, Zink, correct me if I'm wrong, because I was wrong. I didn't know that. They never really actually had an in-house shooter, have they?
Yeah, well, yeah, they have. They had Resistance, Haze,
yeah,
Killzone,
Mag,
SOCOM, Mag. All of them are dead. And here's what's beautiful.
But the thing about it is, their biggest banger out of shooters was really SOCOM.
SOCOM?
My bad. Hey, brothers.
You deal with the military, man.
That's what I meant. Not Counter-Strike, guys. I meant SOCOM. My bad.
Yeah,
I meant SOCOM.
SOCOM was their biggest banger out of all the shooters.
It was, but
SOCOM didn't do a damn thing. So blame everything on Sony on this, guys. Shit, now all of a sudden now they want to cry wolf and saying, well, we can't compete with Microsoft because if they get Call of Duty. Hell yeah, when they get Activision Blizzard, the only thing that Sony can do is get aboard, stop complaining, let your shit be irrelevant, and that's it. That's all they can do. But outside of that, that's it. And if they want to go ahead and play the ploy crap and don't want to do it, let them do it. Let them do it, because like all of them have said, if they don't do it, they be foolish.
Yeah.
Arthur even said himself, he said they'd be foolish at this point not to take the 10-year deal. And and an interesting point that Practice said too. He said, listen here. Now we know consoles die within what, 10 years, right?
Yeah.
He said that was the point that I never really thought of. He said, you think about it. Why should Microsoft sign a 10-year deal knowing that when the new systems come out, you don't know what they're gonna be about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you do a 10-year deal and let that be that. But all I gotta say is this: the lady wasn't lying about Sony. a line about Gen Ryan because if they'd have been a big lie, Gen Ryan would have came out and said so, but he didn't say shit. So what it boils down to is that right now to me, Sony is irrelevant. They can sit there and talk about all they damn console sales, all they got out there. Don't mean shit. Especially when they're not playing their damn games. Especially when they only got one damn shooter that they got out there that they got to pin up on making their money on. 17 damn percent, Sony fans. 17%?
Yeah.
Hell, you may tell me y'all at that point in time and y'all done resistant that Sony has only made a couple of gamers and they let all them damn studios flop because all they wanted to do was make like a little bit of money at that time and then close down the.
It's not that they let them flop, Tuck. It's just that they didn't do shit.
Well,
and you know, they just didn't have a choice. I mean, if you can't force something to be great, if it's not great, it's not great. You know, it's this that that's just the point. But the thing is, SOCOM was hot back then in the PS2 era, but that's when Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon took that out, especially Rainbow Six. And then when Sony came back to make a new one, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. It's like you and you're a football player. You're a football player. You're in the 8th grade. You good, and all of a sudden you're gonna try and go to the NFL. How the hell are you gonna do that? Or if you're in high school, you try and go to the NFL as a football player. It may have been maybe one or two guys that, if they allowed it, it would be possible, because you have to be a grown ass man to play in the NFL coming out of high school. But at any rate, how are you going to skip something? You have people like Marlin Gaming over here talking about Sony have the greatest studio. See, this is where the lie comes in, and this is how you get exposed. Everybody swearing down Sony have the best studios, everyone, and it pains me. It pisses me off when they say that, because where's your proof? Because 3% of the internet, which is the biased ass gaming media, keep writing articles and telling us how great Sony's studios are when they produce $1 billion franchise in Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo is a shell of itself. So you are over here caught in a lie. You're saying that all of these studios are great. Sony have all of these fantastic exclusives. I mean, shooters, Resistance, MAG, Killzone, SOCOM, Haze, and they say they could bring that back. That could easily compete with Call of Duty. Whoa, hold on. Just wait 1 second. All of those were Call of Duty or Halo killers, right? Am I right? Weren't they supposed to be the Halo killers? Didn't none of them kill shit? Halo killed every single one of them. And now these same fraudulent ass people over here talking about Halo is dead. Is that what your dumb ass is saying? Like Rand, I'm calling them all. Rand, that guy Matty Plays, Destin, and Cognito, and all of these jokers sound so somber. I want Microsoft to do so well. And then they recite PC numbers. PC is not the barometer of a console game. It's not. These jokers still playing I want y'all to play Counter-Strike or watch a video of Counter-Strike and look at that shit. They playing that bullshit. And they still playing it on old, outdated ass PCs. That's one of the biggest games on the PC is Counter-Strike. Okay, that game can't do anything, but that's their game. That's not the barometer. Meanwhile, Halo has been in the top 20 for 15 straight months, and these dum-dums talking about it's dead. You know, but they have a legion of followers. The internet is loud, and they echo the same dumb shit. They piss me off with that, dude. Sony had the best studios. Prove it. And then they say Halo released what do they like to say? Tuck and Sega Man, they say Halo released unfinished. Meanwhile, we're still waiting on factions. The Last of Us came with a multiplayer. Where the hell is it? This shit has been gone forever. No one says a damn word. That's what pisses me off about the internet, dude. I don't believe a damn word they say. And that's why I was wrong with you, Tuck. Tuck said last week He said Microsoft is even going to put Call of Duty in Sony's PlayStation Plus. I'm like, no, Tuck, they didn't say that. I didn't see it. But Tuck was right. I could say I'm wrong about that, and mainly I'm wrong because I don't believe anything that these guys say. But there it was in the court document. Read it. Okay, read it for myself. Everybody read it. Tuck was right, absolutely correct. But see, they can't even admit when they're wrong, like I just did. Like Jeff Grubb said, the coalition, they're going to make a smaller game to get used to Unreal Engine 5. When the coalition know Unreal Engine better than Epic, and Epic made it. But they have to have practice. You sound stupid, Jeff. So when they come out and say that we're working on the Gears franchise, Jeff Grubb said, with the layoffs, they decided to cancel that small project. Jeff, shut your ass up, dude. Just say, hey, dude, I was wrong. Why don't you try and say that? Jason Schreier did the same damn thing. All of these, the gaming media is the worst. That's why it's so beautiful to watch Destin and his crunchy face, dude, when Michael Pachter gave him the truth. It was beautiful.
What's up, Hebot?
Hey, I'm mad at y'all.
Hey, tell
I'm mad at all y'all.
Hey, Hebot.
Yo, you guys are a bunch. Listen. Full disclosure. You guys. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you guys are a bunch of podcasting whores. You don't allow a motherfucker to do no We Got Next for nothing. By the time I'm like, let me do We Got Next. Nah, never mind. Sega Man's up again. Here goes Unlimited again. Here goes my brother E-Rock again. You guys are a bunch of whores. Let me tell you.
Hey, Hebot, do me a favor. Send E-Rock a link.
A link? Damn, I don't even know if I remember how to do it while we live. I'll try, yeah, no problem. So anyway, how you guys doing? How are you, brother? Other Zinc? How's everything, brother?
Doing good. Hey, man. Hey, I'll jump on. You could do a show after this. I'll sit on there. Shit.
Yeah, man. These guys got you when you're about to lose your job. You gotta stop going and work just because you got.
Man, this is a podcast marathon, man.
Yeah, we pulling the Jerry Lewis over here.
That's what I'm saying. My brothers are nonstop heat. They're like a dog in heat, looking for everything they can play with.
Got a fresh new haircut. I seen that haircut, G.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. You showed
That's me going bald.
A fresh haircut.
Hey, did you get a chance to see Destin crying live on camera?
No. I was just telling Tuck because he said, jump on the podcast. I could do that. But you know me, Other Zinc, I don't like talking about a subject unless I already know and really are informed of what happened. Yeah. I didn't see it. I'll be honest. I didn't see it. But I hear a bunch of people going crazy because, basically I heard that Michael Pachter had to say the truth, and Dustin Gary couldn't stand it. He looked like he was about to shit on himself.
Hey, he was
That's
so
what
hurt.
I heard. That's what I heard.
He was so hurt. And in one instance, it was just going bad for Destin.
Okay.
And Destin said to Michael Pachter, he said, isn't Sony being smart by not signing the contract, by patiently getting, by waiting for better terms and condition, as the case proceeds or whatever. And he said, he was basically saying, isn't Sony smart for waiting? And doesn't that put Microsoft in a tough spot? And he said, no, Sony isn't smart. He went off. It was so fun. And dude, I was walking around the house doing things, and I had to go back and run that back.
You had to pull over thing? You had to pull over?
Dude, I had to go and look. It was hilarious. I had to go look at his face, and to look at Destin's face when Pachter just like, no, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. What's up, Smitty Smith?
Think how long you've heard so many of us guys, me myself included, and even 100 say that Sony is just not in a good position. They don't make money the way people make it seem like they do, and they swear up and down that they do. I was like, look, It could look one way because of perception, but that doesn't mean that's the reality of the facts.
Correct.
Facts versus perception is two very big different things. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. People are stuck with the idea, oh, but the perception is they're the best. Yeah, that may be the case, that they are popular. But that doesn't mean that they're making money and making the moves and they have the capital to destroy anybody else. That's
Yep.
why they're acting so desperate
Yep.
about this merger going through.
Yep.
What was that talking?
I'm gonna add one thing to this thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
They already said that what Sony only have like $5 billion to do with acquisitions.
No, that's 5 billion cash on hand.
Oh yeah, $5 billion on cash. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
all they
not
have
money to spend.
to
Yeah.
like get any acquisition stuff like that. But and then that's funny that I love that came out also because people are swearing up and down they're gonna buy Take Two. They're swearing up and down that they're gonna buy EA and all this other crazy stuff. Like, bro, they don't have the capital.
That shit.
They don't have the capital to buy themselves.
Dude, they don't even come close to having. They don't even have a clout to get a loan to buy somebody that would cost them almost all of what they're worth. I think Sony's only worth
all of what they're worth. Why would someone let themselves be bought so that they could jeopardize making less money than what they already make?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't even. They couldn't even get that kind of money, dude. I mean,
Don't make no sense.
By the time I think Take Two is has a market cap of like 18 billion or something like that. So 18 or 20 billion. So that means it would cost them damn near $30 billion, and Sony is only worth 42 or 45 billion.
Yeah, 42. And it went down. Remember, because last year, I think the year before, they were up to 73. Remember? And they went down again. And I guess that's because of all their losses, which don't be surprised next year be a lower number once this deal goes through, once they get all the losses from PlayStation VR2, because we all know VR2 is going to fail. It's already failing. You don't see nobody talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And people think it's not failing, dude. I don't think they sold 1 million copies of those things.
No. Remember, the first one only sold I think was 350,000 units. Then they dropped it to I think it was 400. It sold it to 1 million at that point. And then when they put it down to 189, I think it was, on clearance for Black Friday, that's when they hit those numbers of 4 million. People were like, you see, it sold. I was like, yeah, at fucking liquidated clearance prices, dummy. That means it's diminished returns. Yeah, that means they were just getting rid of him. They're getting rid of them because they made the investment. Yeah, of course.
And then you
I
got
wouldn't be surprised they're melting down. I wouldn't be surprised they're melting down the original PS4 versions to create and mass produce the new one for PS5, just to save cost.
And then you got the same people going on this on their little device there. The same ones was bitching about Kinect when that damn thing sold 30 million units. When it
38
wasn't,
to be exact. Yeah, 38.
When it wasn't packed in, he bought.
And it wasn't built from scratch to take advantage of the hardware. Absolutely.
Yeah, so get out of here, dude. That's the best, still the best selling gaming peripheral ever. But they had to get it. They had to get it out of the public because they knew how great that device was, and what is the next Kinect doing? Kinect 3.0 is what, $4,000 and used in hospitals for surgery. They didn't want stupid asses like Jason Schreier ruining the name of this great product that they invented.
If you go to self-service, yeah, I think you can. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, no, you're right. But the other thing that people don't take into consideration is obviously Microsoft. It was important, and not only important, but it was smart and obviously the right thing to do for them as far as a logical decision. Once they saw that Kinect did so well, the first one, to try to do it again and just make it better and make it part of the whole console experience, right? They wanted to unify it so it felt seamless, so it felt like smooth and didn't felt like it had any hiccups like the first one because it wasn't built. The first one wasn't built with the intentions, of what you call that of feeling 100% accurate. You know what I mean?
But it was very accurate though, man. You know, I used to watch my daughter and her friend, you know, they play with this damn Connect thing and move it to the damn garage. You know,
Please. What was that thing? Go ahead. I'm listening to you, bro.
the first Connect worked very well. Out of the 11 games I had, only
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of them
it
didn't
worked
work too
well.
good.
It worked well,
And
but
that
you know
was
how some people were
they
saying that they
tried.
had to be too far from the TV or they had to
Nah,
be
man, yeah,
too close.
that's
You,
all
you
cap.
remember that they were saying
Yeah,
things
I
like that.
remember everything. I remember everything. It was like it was yesterday. And I had this thing in my house, you know, using it. My kids are using it all the time, you know. And then the second device was 100 times better. That thing could walk you all around the room. That I would follow you all over the place. It was an amazing ass device, you know. And then you have a great scenario that happened in whatever game you're playing, and you say Xbox record that, you know, and dude, it records your clip for 30 seconds or so, or however long you have it set. But you know, dude, they're always doing something crazy to Xbox. But one thing no one ever says is no one speaks of where is
Hold on
Sony
a minute
moved
here. I'm gonna get
today.
him to get you in.
Yeah, no one asks where Sony PlayStation moved today. No one. Everybody likes to harp on Connect was very successful. But Michael Pachter, dude, hey man, when you watch this, hey, it was something to see. And with Lulu Chen Messervey flattening the hopes of all Sony loyalists out there, and Michael Pachter batting cleanup and knocking Lulu Chen Messervey home, people should see what I've been talking about for literally for 2 decades. I was mad when Sony killed Sega by taking Madden away from Sega, and all of us had to buy a PlayStation to continue our Madden league. I was even mad at them in college because I realized how much bullshit they were when this girl did a presentation on Sony. But now everybody gets a chance to see what I saw in college in 1990. Okay, everybody see, and people always thought that I hate Sony because of the PlayStation. No, dude, it's because of bad. I hate shiesty motherfuckers. I do.
Yeah, it's their action, the things that they did. It was just like, what? Are you serious? Especially when you saw that they made the 2K Madden, right? The 2000 was it 2K5? I think it was 2K5, right? And they and that visual concept was so confident of their product. They're like, you know what? We're so confident it's going to do well. Now we're going to sell it for $20 versus their 60, and let's see which version or which game is going to sell more.
Yeah, but that's when EA got bold and bought the right to football.
Right. Well, they didn't have a choice. What they did first was they fucking. What they did first was they fucking. I remember they have brought it down to $20 or $30 to match their price, but it still wasn't selling. But it still wasn't selling. 2K was still outselling it.
Yeah.
And then once they outsold it, they got mad and they were like, "Fuck this shit!" You know, they were all pissed off.
Yep.
And then the following year, you saw when they made the announcement, like in the summertime, oh, we bought the rights so like another 12 years. Only we can make the game exclusive. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, you dirty dogs.
The NFL also wasn't happy with that because when the game was $20, they put out some crazy statement like, we make a premium content. Why is this game being sold for so little?
Correct.
And EA then took advantage of that. You know,
and ran with that shit.
And NFL games been bad since. You know, I stopped playing Madden over a decade ago. I'll never buy another one. I'll never play another one. I don't care if every single one is on Game Pass for the rest of my life. Until that exclusivity contract ends, no NFL games for me. And I've never budged on that.
Hey, that's a point too, man. Like when Sony sabotages games and Digital Foundry say, well, this game is better because the Series S is terrible. I know that's all a crock of shit. Okay. So that's like that, whether it's good or not, I don't get it. I don't. You will never see other Zinc playing that shit. Wolverine
Mhm.
pop up playing said game that Sony sabotaged. And oh, it's just better on the PlayStation. All right, you keep that shit over there. Hey, but I'm glad Unlimited jumped on here. Hey, Unlimited, what did you think about your? Let me see, who's not here. E-Rock is in here. What do you think about E-Rock's boy Destin and his interview he gave with Michael Pachter?
You know, funny thing, me and E-Rock just talked about it about an hour and a half ago.
I missed
I was-
that, man.
I
I didn't even know you
was
did a
in the chat.
podcast. Unlimited.
And Limited, send him a link. He want to get in. Send him a link.
Who? E-Rock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
E-Rock.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Give me a
Okay.
second.
Guys, give me a sec. I'll jump back on.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
looking for my
much-
wife. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
brother.
but pretty much, man,
But-
he
but
pretty
see
much just
what-
confirmed
This is what
everything.
people don't know is that if Take-Two wouldn't have got involved in that hot coffee scandal dealing with Grand Theft Auto during that time, because they almost bellied up. I mean, they almost.
That was like a three. We could do another show on that. That was like a 3-part thing. That's one. Part one was actually Take-Two should have had Grand Theft Auto on Xbox all by itself, but these new clowns that were over whether a product could or could not come to Xbox, they declined it. Sony picked it up, and the rest is history. Then it took Peter Moore to get Grand Theft Auto back, but that was a whole lot of other things. But we'll get into that one day. But I
that's
wanted
not
to
what
hear
I'm talking
about
about.
Unlimited.
What I'm talking about is this, Alice Inc. But I'm talking about this. That if you just think about it, if that hot coffee scandal when it came down, they would have enough money to turn around and block the merger of the EA going to the NFL going just to the EA. They spent a lot of money.
No, they didn't have that. They didn't have money like that. They didn't have EA money. They
No, they didn't have the
have
EA money, but I'm just saying when it hurt, but the hot coffee scandal did hurt them somewhat, where they could have bid it for it, because during that time they were just going for the highest bidder. And
But EA had too much money.
I wish they would have gave Madden that bid. I wish they really wouldn't have.
We all do, but Take-Two couldn't do. They didn't have money like that back. Take-Two have money today, but they didn't have money like that. But none of us like that, and we were Madden players until we started playing on the Dreamcast, and 2K was dope. But yeah, but go ahead, Unlimited. I couldn't wait to hear what you had to say about E-Rock's friend Destiny.
Pretty much. I mean, he said a lot that we said for years, man. The innovate, you got to innovate to keep going. Sony ain't gonna last the next decade, and so on and so forth. I just spoke with E-Rock about 30 minutes ago, so it's hard to kind of repeat what I just said. All the energy is kind of out of me on that topic, to be honest with you. But it's still great when everything that we've known, Zinc, pretty much is coming to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to the point that even Destin Legary would step in, give Sony their excuses, give Sony their unneeded props, but he shut the hell up and just let Patrick speak for the most part. And yeah, man, and so the fact that that the whole, like, hell, I saw even David Jaffe is now on the train that Sony needs help, and he used to work. He used to make God of War. I don't know if he still does or not.
No, he doesn't. He hasn't been on God of War since God of War, I think 2 or 3.
Well, there you go. Yeah, even he's on. Even I saw a video recently. Even he's on that train of Sony. Sony can't compete. It's funny how they say what we've been saying for years,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how we were corporate slaves, fanboys, this and that, for speaking the truth. And now they need, now that Michael Patrick's confirming stuff, now everybody wants to take heed. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm here to say it's too little, too late. All right. When Microsoft has 70% of the subscription market, Sony ain't fucking catching up to that. All right? You're just not.
I want to remind you of something Destin said. Destin asked Michael Pachter, and I was just telling the guys, I had to actually go back and rewind it just so I could look at Destin's face when Pactor gave him this answer. You remember when Destin asked Pactor, isn't Sony being smart by not signing that contract and waiting for a better deal?
Hell
in so many words. And Pactor jumped in and was like, get the fuck out of here. I was dying. You know, he was like, no.
Yeah, of course it's not. You know, it's not. Listen, Sony is not in a position of power. All right, and that's what this comes down to. So, see, Sony put the perception out there for years, y'all, that they're the market leader, they're this, and that. But anybody who peeked at the finances knew that Sony wasn't shit. All right, all right, and so now we know with certainty Sony they might put it out there that they're in the position of power, but Microsoft are the ones who's holding the cards in their hands, right? They're the ones who got the power. They're the ones who's making the purchases. They're the ones who could afford these. So of course Michael Pachter was spot on denying that. It's not smart. It's not smart to ruin the relationship with your number one third party producer that provides 20% of your revenue. That's dumb as fucking hell. All right. That's like going to work and spitting in your boss' face and expecting a raise. No, your ass gonna get fired. And oh, Lord forbid your boss has connections and you try to go somewhere else, and now your name is really out there. That's what Sony's doing. Why the fuck would Ubisoft want to do a deal with them? Why the fuck would EA want to do a deal with them? Huh? Because Activision, one of the largest publishers in gaming, they're ruining their money. $70 billion on the table, and they want to block that merger.
Hey, great point. Before E-Rock jump in here, you know, it also, the smaller developers are seeing Sony is not as tough as they claim to be. So they see that there's an option out there when Microsoft stepped up to the plate and smacked them in the face. You know, I want to know what. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and only the Japanese developers aren't smart enough to take advantage of the $1 trillion company for some reason. You know, they're the only ones that's dumb enough to pretty much not say, hey, this company here's worth like $2 trillion. You want to jump on that train? Nah, let's stay loyal to Sony. Let's give them an exclusive for Forspoken, and the game flopped so bad we closed the dev in a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got that right on Unlimited.
Yo, E-Rock, man, what's up, man? How'd you get in here?
I sent them a link.
Unlimited Production sent me a link. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that, E-Rock. I tried to get you in. I just couldn't do it.
It's quite all right, Tucker. Thanks to you, I just got back to the multiverse where I talked to 46 other E-Rocks, and every last E-Rock asked, "Why the fuck don't your links ever work?" So, thank God for Unlimited. Thank God for Unlimited Production, who still knows how HTMLs and all that shit works, and I was finally able to get in. Hello, guys.
Hey, E-Rock, what do you think about all this bullshit?
I'm flabbergasted that for the last 3 years, Sega Man, Tuck, Hebot, mostly Hebot, Unlimited Production, and everybody called this shit. And now on fucking St. Patrick's Day 2023 to hear Michael Pachter, an analyst from Wedbush Morgan, basically verbatim say everything we've been saying on the Exile podcast for 3 years.
Yeah,
that there was a paradigm shift happening, a change happening. Yep. That the old ways of doing business, of buying a $500 console and paying $70 for a game, is not going to work anymore. That this whole subscription-based service that Microsoft basically emulated from Netflix was the future of gaming, and we're seeing it now. And everything he said was so on point. And he said it so just eloquently and kind of blasé. And to sit there and watch Justin Legary sit there, and you could see his eyes watering because he wanted to say something. He wanted to try and defend Sony, but he couldn't because Michael Pachter wouldn't let him. My favorite part of the whole interview was, you think Sony is smart? Yes. Like others said, you think Sony is smart and refusing the deal? And are they trying to get a better deal? No, they're not smart. In fact, they're dumb. In fact, Microsoft isn't going to give them a better deal.
Hey, for everybody that's in the chat, hey, what's up, everybody that just jumped in here? But that's at the 16-minute 46-second mark. I'm gonna replay that every day.
Yeah, because Dustin Legary didn't make fucking chapter breaks, but Outer Zinc did. So go to Outer Zinc's channel and watch the video. you'll know everything that's happening. Chuck, God damn it, why don't your links work? What do you hit the wrong button? Are you copy and pasting something from 2016? What exactly happens when when Sega Man had said, "Yeah, I'm getting Tuck to send you a link," I said, "Oh shit."
hey, check this one out, dude. This is why I represent the chat. At 3:55 p.m., your boy Tool Man jumps in here. A lot of great info in the interview, and people talking about Pactor needs to do what he does on a daily basis and see how they do. A lot of these jokers follow blindly what people say. And that's what Pactor does. That's his job. He's a super incredible analyst. But the thing is, the only time Pactor goes off leash is when he gives an opinion on something, like he faded back and saying Xbox will get out of the console business. Phil Spencer told us they're not getting out of the console business because a home console or PC is your first best place to play, because you'll never have it consistent internet across the world. That's the only barrier between that, unless everybody get on some super speed that they develop later on in the future. But when Pactor talks straight business, it's a treat to listen to something like that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Zeke. He's had some hot takes before, Michael Pactor. Let's be for real.
Correct.
But, when he said that Xbox might be getting out of the console business, I don't know, in 20 years or whatever the hell, I think he was alluding to the fact that the console business may evolve into something we haven't even seen yet. Like, listen, man, who the hell thought that nobody would no longer have a fucking cable box in their house? Who thought that? Who thought we would all be streaming off of a cell phone or Really, I watch all my content off of an app that's on Xbox.
Yeah.
Cable? I got rid of cable. I got rid of cable 2 years ago.
You got rid of cable, do you? But who is your online though?
Okay, my internet provider is Comcast.
Okay, there you go.
They're pissed because I got rid of the box. I said you can keep your box. Listen, I don't know how it is in Texas or any place else, but here in Philadelphia, you were getting charged to rent the box. You were getting charged to have a DVR. So they wanted to charge you just to fucking tape some shit. Yeah. And there were state fees and licensing fees on top of the $200 you pay for 15 or 26 channels you're not going to watch. So when my sister came here a couple of years ago and showed me this shit called Pluto TV, I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that I don't have to pay for this fucking cable anymore? I got rid of that shit so fast Comcast was shocked. So
Oh, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. The whole business model of how I consume entertainment changed overnight. So let's not imagine that console gaming could just change overnight.
Yeah. I got rid of cable when I got my Xbox One in 2015.
Damn.
I hate Comcast, and Comcast was so fucking expensive, and I wasn't watching enough TV, so I got rid of it years ago, 7-8 years ago now, man. And I never looked back. I was still living at home with my family, but I was paying the cable bill, and I told them, I was like, guys, I'm cutting out cable. We're gonna try, the whole cord cutting thing at the time, right? And so I just bought that TV adapter for the Xbox, and then just use apps. And since then, my Xbox been my entertainment system.
Yeah,
and it's been that way since the Xbox One days for me, man. But yeah, E-Rock is right, man. The everything changes. The way. Hell, let's not forget this at this time a decade ago, people were saying that Microsoft was going to kill physical games and push digital on us. Now, a decade later, 80% of video games are digital.
Correct, and you have to get a mail-in copy to get a hard disk down there. And I love automobiles, and now we have electric cars that's quicker than a damn Lamborghini. That's freaking $2 million.
Everybody I always talk to always comes to me and be like, E-Rock, you lived through you were a child in the 70s. You barely remember it, but you were a teenager in the 80s, young man in the 90s. an adult in the 2000s and now the 2000 teens, don't you miss the old days? Don't you? I'm like, no, I don't miss the old days. I'm not even nostalgic for the old days. Every July, I will have a Back to the 80s movie marathon. And that is maybe in June, a Back to the 90s movie marathon. And that is about it. There was no Electronic Frontier, no Netflix, no Xbox Game Pass. You had to go to a brick and mortar store to buy a game. As recently, hell, I was going to a brick and mortar store called GameStop as recently as 2012. Oh man, I paid $60 for a game. This Madden 2013 sucks. I want to trade it in. Well, we could give you $20 store credit. You just fucked me out of $40. No. Now with Game Pass, I get to try before I buy. Now I get to see that Wolong Fallen Dynasty is a piece of shit before I pay for it. There's no going back.
Dude, I watched you thumb through all of those games in your Resident Evil video today. I'm like, look at this shit. I'm like, he's trying to pull an unlimited over here. You know,
I got all them when Capcom lost their minds and had the Resident Evils on sale.
Yeah.
And so I got to see for myself and I got to see for myself how Resident Evil hasn't changed in 25 fucking years.
I got a soft spot for Resident Evil because that's my best friend's favorite series, and every time a new Resident Evil come up, he hit me up like, "Dog, Resident Evil." So you're gonna find me playing it, but but no, it's the same fucking thing it was that was resold from the GameCube to the Xbox Series X these last 20 years. And I think that's bullshit.
I think it was Xbox All In when you and Unlimited had a show earlier. He said I think it was him or someone else said that they never played a Resident Evil game. And I was like, dude, Resident Evil was fire. 1, 2, that Nemesis character, Resident Evil Code Veronica on the Dreamcast, Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube were amazing. But
I think that's where it peaked.
Yeah, and it was kind of good. But hey,
but notice how you were naming different games. Now it's Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake,
Correct.
Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's not new.
Yeah.
That's just the same game with prettier graphics and maybe some updated controls at most. But it's not a new experience. Code Veronica was a new experience from Resident Evil 2, I believe, at the time. So I think we're at different. So I think that's a whole different situation. It's like saying I'm trying to think of another game. See, Japanese games sell. I mean, only Sony really resells games the way Capcom did. I guess GTA is the only other game that did that shit, right? Where it's like, okay, we got the 360 version, then the Xbox One, then the Series X. But at least they sold that game at like $20 on the Series X or something like that. Man, at least that version was like $20-$40. Resident Evil Remake is $70. For the same fucking game.
If Hebot was here right now, he would disagree vehemently. But I've been saying for really Unlimited Production since 2004. No, 2003 when I played Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic by BioWare, and then a year later, Fable by Lionhead Studios. I said then, this makes Final Fantasy X look like fucking garbage. There is a continental divide, a gulf between Japanese game development and Western and American game development. Look no further than Grand Theft Auto 5. Look no further than Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins. Look no further than Hogwarts Legacy. Like, I'm playing Like a Dragon Ishin because I saw a limited production playing it. I was like, I want to try it. I like the fact that it's in feudal Japan instead of the same city it's always been in. I'm finally having pretty interesting sword fights, but it's pretty much the same thing. Walk here, find this guy. Oh, here's some thugs, fight them. And so I'm playing through the Resident Evil demo and trying Resident Evil 3 again, and it's like, gotta find some bullets, gotta look for a gun, then like, dude, okay, the graphics are phenomenal because the RE3 engine, that proprietary engine that Capcom uses, makes some great graphics. But I told my friend who's no longer here years ago, like, be careful. Everything looks great on the Xbox One. So don't waste your money on graphics. And here we are years later, and I turn to YouTube videos and Solid Rev's like, yo, man, this is fire, man. This is going to be the game of the year. And I'm like, dude, what fucking hashish are you smoking? What? We all know that Hogwarts Legacy is game of the year, which is not going to get because of Colin Moriarty. Not Colin Moriarty. Jeff Keighley has anything to do with it, he's going to see that Hogwarts Legacy doesn't get Game of the Year.
Well, that's not true because Sega Man and I said Forza is getting Game of the Year when that shit dropped.
No, it's not. Do you forget who's in charge of the Video Game Awards?
This is actually
Yeah, they got Spider-Man locked up, and that game don't even have
correct.
gameplay shown yet.
Yeah, or Final Fantasy 16. That's gonna get it. Hey, two things. First of all, Rain G4 ain't shit. When we were talking about getting rid of cable and stuff like that, he said my ex rents her box. This dude is crazy. Hey,
man.
but that dude is something else.
Oh,
Hey, but
Michael Pachter, my favorite part is when he said the dude, he was like, he told Dustin, he said, I own a PlayStation 5. And he said, I want to ask you a question, Dustin. He said, what exclusives does the PlayStation 5 have? Like by itself. And Dustin said something. And he said, no. I said PlayStation 5. And he couldn't answer the question.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Hey, I wanted to say Godfall so bad. It was hilarious, dude. It was many gems in there. Hey, I want to get at Xbox All In because he jumped in here with a great one. This dude jumped in at 4:05 p.m. and he was like, shout out to Xbox One in 2013 for seeing the future and being the all-in-one box. Though they got destroyed by the media and Sony fanboys alike. Hey, dude.
And every single thing about that console ended up being true. Every
single thing. But you know, that's why I don't let people get away with saying the Xbox One generation was some bullshit, because it wasn't. And see, and this is even though next gen has gone off his rocker, and I know he's for the Captain and the Kuma, but that's one of the reasons he gets a forever pass, because I was gonna jump off the ledge. I was excited about Xbox. I was excited about everything that they were doing. And it was one dude that my boy found. It was like, hey man, this dude don't hate Xbox. Listen to this show, you know. And then we started to find everybody else, and then Dr. Vaca later on introduced me to all of you guys. But you know, like you said, Unlimited, and you alluded to earlier, E-Rock, Netflix got its birth from Don Matrick. He was like, hey Netflix, why don't you put your shit on here and distribute your movies digitally.
It's a smart move.
Hey, Zink, let's not forget,
my bad.
Hey, Zink, and let's not forget, E-Rock. Our brother Rain G4 said, Tuck's lips are greasy from those chicken wings.
You just can't drive and watch this motherfucker at the same time.
But fellas, but when it boils down to, man, Sony know what they ass in. If they don't sign that 10-year deal, they be foolish, okay? And if they want to go ahead and belly up, they can belly up.
They already turned it down, Tuck.
Yeah.
And they better think about that. Got to resign that damn thing.
Tell them the quote.
They're not going to, man.
The quote was delivered by.
Stop being so hateful.
Tuck, you have way too much hope for Sony saying this shit.
They're not going.
Wait, that's way too hopeful. Have you not paid attention? They literally told them they want to block the merger. They don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. They don't give a fuck about the 10-year deal. They just want to block this shit so they can maintain the status quo.
That's exactly what they said.
Hold on. Unlimited is the leader of us all in the Unlimited truth. Even Unlimited just got it wrong. Hey, Tuck, Unlimited just said they said no. Jim Ryan out of his own crusty ass lips on a February date said, hey, I don't want a new deal. I want to block the merger.
He's a fool.
You hear that shit?
Yeah.
Hey, Zink, you know what was another great part of that interview that you had mentioned earlier, Zink?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I want to get back to when you said Michael Pachter had asked Dustin Legary, well, what exclusives does PlayStation 5 have? So at first, because it was late when I was watching this, so I thought that Michael Pachter, we're all old. Like, he's 67. We're all old, so I thought he was having like a brain fart or some shit or a brain freeze. And then I thought about it. I thought about what the fuck he was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So still sneaky and so cold. And I said, God damn, this old white dude is right. What the fuck exclusives does PlayStation 5 have? Because he said, I could play everything y'all got on PlayStation 4. Why buy a PS5? I was like, damn, you went to You in the gutter with this shit, man.
Yeah.
You speaking facts.
Mhm.
Like for all this time we've been hearing Xbox has no exclusives. Man, we got to get more exclusives. We have more next gen exclusives than y'all.
Yeah, that's true, E.
Yep. And then they want to talk about the Series S. Hey, Sega man, we didn't hear you. What you think about all of this bull? Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, let me check something. Hebot isn't here. What do you think about Hebot's boy Destin?
Bruh, let me tell you something first. Let me tell you now, when you're watching that show, right? When you're watching that show on your big 4K TV, let me just say something to Dustin, man. Nigga, brush your fucking teeth, man. His teeth is nasty, man. Look like fucking coffee stains all over his teeth, bro. Man, brush your goddamn teeth, man.
You know what I mean? Little kids in the background singing honeycombs have a big bite. big. His teeth was yellow as shit.
Man, his teeth was yellow as hell. I'm like, dude, brush your damn teeth before you do your podcast, man. I mean, dude was looking dusty. And I tell you what, Pachter was giving my man the business. Did you see his lips quivering? He didn't know what to say, bro.
Nope.
He didn't know what to do because Pachter just came back with fire after fire. Everything he said, man, when he tried to say and damage control Xbox, right?
Yo, he did all that using his PS2 eye camera too, man.
Dustin thought that he was going to go ahead and do an interview and take over the interview. And the old man took over the interview, told him straight up what's going to go on.
Mm-hmm. And two man jumped in here to answer Eroc's question. He said Gran Turismo 7. And we all know, and I said this soon as Gran Turismo 7 dropped, all it is Gran Turismo Sport DLC from 2017. And what happened a month ago? That Smitty Smith, he ain't shit. He said the dude from Digital Foundry looked like have
but he
what did he say? He said he had what's the dude's SpongeBob teeth?
Toolman is wrong because Gran Turismo 7's on PlayStation 4 as well.
But yes, it's on. But they snuck it on us. It is on PlayStation 4. But the new update, they have some little one track, and you could reverse it, and they have 4 new cars. That's only on the PS5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know, man. That's something else right there, man. God, no. But see, fella, let me ask you this. Now, they brought back out that Gran Turismo 7, but look how long it took for them to bring that game back out.
Mm-hmm.
It took them damn near a long time to bring that game back out. So why did they bring it back out? To try to make some money. And that game ain't making no money either.
And
Tuck, what was the question? he said he asked you this and then making a good statement, but what are you asking us, man?
What Tuck is saying is
I can't even say nothing about that with you, man. You got me today, man.
No, I got your back, Tuck. Hey, the thing is, they made a brand new game in 2022, and the newest car they had was a 2018 Camaro. And that game, you released Gran Turismo 7 in 2022, and IGN gave it an 87? Man, get out of here, dude.
Yeah, man.
Get out of here with that garbage. This is horrible. You got some good comments in here.
I know that. Hey,
Rambo,
brothers, I know that.
Listen to Rambo. He ain't shit. He said, Others Inc., you supposed to be watching NASCAR, right? NASCAR is they own in Phoenix today. Bill Gates hates Sony, so he pulling the Tuck Master. And Bill does hate Sony.
Hey, yo, man, that podcast, when I was watching that, man, I was just looking at Dustin, bro, because he always tries to damage control all the time for Sony, man. And I know Pachter did a good job with his ass. He wasn't letting him he wasn't letting him say anything to try to get those shits and giggles, clicks and stuff like that, bro. I mean, he was just letting him know. I mean, you know, hey, he said he kept saying it a lot too. He kept saying Sony's stupid, you know. He kept saying it a lot that Sony is stupid with their business practices and what they're doing, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he even said, with everybody says with the 10-year deal, the 3-year deal, or whatever have you, and then you're gonna come back and say no, fuck you, no, we don't even want that. We just want to block the deal, period. I mean, when you say shit like that, like Unlimited and everybody says, everybody in social media, everybody in gaming, these companies like Ubisoft and you guys said, they're all see this, man. What that dude is saying and what Sony is doing, bro. I'm telling you right now, it is over, bro. It's over, man.
And I was disappointed in myself because when I saw
It's
that,
over.
I usually send it to Unlimited because Unlimited will always look up something and find something that I didn't see or we didn't see. And I saw where I queued it up to send it to him and never pushed send. I'm glad Unlimited saw the video though. I'm really glad.
It's all just entertainment, isn't it? Just entertainment at this point.
Greatest.
But beyond even my wildest imagination, I was wishing more that it was Colin Moriarty that was in the hot seat, but he'll never invite anybody like Michael Pachter on his spot.
He would have cursed him out, then kicked him off when he was speaking facts. He didn't praise Sony.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Just sitting there watching Dustin. His whole body language was weird because even though all you could see was his face, it looked like he kept shifting his eyes, and his eyes was watering, and he kept looking like he had someplace to be, and he looked like a murderer being cross-examined for having skeletal bones in their basement. And then, like, dude, there's no way out of this. Michael Pachter had him dead to rights, and like Unlimited Production said, Michael Pachter, he was coming in fucking 240p. His camera wasn't working, like his shit was freezing, but he was just spitting facts. And I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen the media just come out and say, yeah, Sony's fucked. And how are they going to spin this Monday? What are they going to say? What can you say at this point?
Yeah.
Because they've been so fucking transparent this last couple of months that it boggles the imagination. The only one not surprised is Hebot. Somehow Hebot called all of this shit years ago.
Oh no, I'm not surprised either. I gave a whole rundown of why Sony just can't. I couldn't see how Sony was doing it, and it's like they make up shit. It's why they got deleted from the Japan's stock exchange.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they got delisted. Yeah,
I haven't forgotten none of that shit. But if my boy
downgraded to junk, I think it was. Their stock got downgraded to junk.
Downgraded to junk, and it pissed them off, and they came the fuck over here. And I tell you, one of my other boys, Ramo is one, but this other guy, Zink Griffin, been gaming longer than me. And this dude, I told his ass way back when they took Tomb Raider from Sega, I said, Sony is not going to be able to do this shit forever. And that was in the 90s, dude, when they took that shit from them.
They tried, but time runs out for all men and all beasts.
Yeah.
They fucking tried, dude. They gave it the old college try.
Yeah, hey, Rock, you going off. I'm glad you like this, dude. Honestly, I live for this. Okay, it like listening to Hogue Law. It's like I'm back in college again. Not that college. I love those classwork, but this is when school gets interesting, and Hogue brings this out. But here's a great one. When he asked, and I said this on so many shows a year ago, that the CMA ain't shit. How about when Destin asked Michael Pachter, but can't the CMA, they're a tough nut to crack, or won't they throw a monkey wrench? Pachter said they don't mean shit. He is like he named the towns or whatever that they have jurisdiction over, and he was like, those motherfuckers won't be able to have Call of Duty, and get the fuck out of here. Oh, he went off. What you think about that bullshit?
Man, the way he answered him was just so concise. Like, basically, okay, you can have your laws, you can have whatever. We just won't fucking put Call of Duty on Game Pass there. We'll put it on Game Pass everywhere else. No, like it's like Unlimited Production said. These guys have no power. Activision and Microsoft have all the power. Activision is the seller. Microsoft is the purchasee or purchaser. They have all the power. And we found out in 2020 who really has the power in this industry when Bethesda and ZeniMax was bought. But this has just driven fear down everybody's spine. I don't know why that an American company whose executive is hell-bent on gaming for everybody is going to get Activision. Whereas Tencent or anybody else, who knows how they would have fucked Activision up and carved it up. This is meant to happen. This is meant to be. But I mean, even in my wildest imaginings from 3 years ago, did I ever see this? I never thought I'd see Sony PlayStation groveling. I never thought I'd see them fucking so transparent. They've been so arrogant for decades.
Yes.
This whole scenario is almost unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true, man. And hey, Dustin, man, I don't know where he, I don't know what he's thinking now. Probably after that podcast, motherfucking an MF and everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and here's what you think about this shit, Unlimited. Ramo just corrected all of us because you could imply certain things, and here we were talking this shit, and Ramo jumps in and says Sony only has $5 billion in cash for the whole company. Get the fuck out of here. They can't buy nothing. That's Sony Pictures and Sony PlayStation. That's not all Sony PlayStation. That's for the whole company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even all theirs, dude. So they can't buy shit. They can't buy nothing. What you think about that accounting, Unlimited? You think you could find something they could buy over there, like some popsicles or some shit?
Timed exclusivity. That's all you can buy. You can't buy shit else. You are in trouble. Matter of fact, I think the lease on your building is expired. I'd be shitting bricks right now. I'd be like, man, look, guys, don't take this as any offense, but I have to shop my resume around to someplace else. You motherfuckers are not going to be here long. I heard that Amazon was hiring, so I'll go over there. Damn, that's rough. Man, how the mighty have fallen. You remember what Sony used to be, right? Another thing. I'm sure you had a Walkman. You was one of them dudes with your roller skates on, had the Walkman on out in the bar.
Well, no. Well, we were at the roller rink. We couldn't wear our skates.
I knew it.
Hey, but E-Rock, when you went to the roller rink, tell me that you didn't try and put those little flashlights on the bottom of your skates when the flashlight came on, and we skating to that shit. Okay, so yeah, I did that shit too. And here's Gogo Poe with some bullshit, but of course he's right on. And he said, what Jim says is what the Sony overlords allow him to say. And that's the reason Sean Layden is not there, because Sean Layden kind of bucked the trend with Sony. He was like, I think I can, but Jim Ryan like, no, fuck that. We're going to do this shit over here. So he was with the Sony brass. That's why Sean was out, Jim was in. So that's right. The whole company is arrogant. All of Sony is a bunch of arrogant jokers, dude. Big time arrogant, and this is the position that they find themselves in. And I love it. And
didn't Sony say if you put Call of Duty on Game Pass, it would hurt PS Plus? Yes.
Yeah. And also they redacted a lot of that portion of the court document. Mm-hmm. And what Sony doesn't like is that astronomical number that they would have to pay up front in order to get Call of Duty on their service. Same thing Microsoft does for High on Life or A Plague's Tale. They give them so much money that they think they're going to make, and those people, they love it. It's like, damn, they just paid for all of our R&D, all of our research and development is paid for. Dude, this is great, But that Call of Duty bill would be in the billions, bro. So it's not something that they could sneak out of.
I'm with. Well, hey, I got something I want to say to Deploy, man. I'm with you too, man. I'm not spending all kinds of money on remakes and remasters, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. I mean, our brother E-Rock got, he got the what is it, the Grand Theft Auto.
That was $20 though.
That was $20, but E-Rock knows too. I mean, they keep bringing out all these remakes, and and they want it full price for them, man. I'm just not doing it, man. It has to be real cheap, bro, for me to get it. Maybe like $10. I mean, I'm not paying for these remakes. They need to start thinking of and making new stuff or making sequels.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's a hell of a stretch for somebody got a computer talking to them. We are in the future.
That's my Alexa. She tells me every Sunday, don't forget to take out my trash cans.
Man, you and Alexa's on a personal basis there, huh? We got some Megan shit going on over there.
She got the house locked down.
Man, but I mean, it's a stretch for 2K games to be asking $70 for WWE 2K23. Like, did y'all fix any of the bugs in WWE 2K22 yet? Nope. No, you didn't fix any of the bugs in that game last year that I caught on sale. That's the only way I'd buy one of your games again if I caught that shit on sale. Because your last game was a buggy mess. It just had good fucking graphics. I'm tired of this shit. Like Madden, how the fuck dare you fucking ask $70 for a new Madden? And if you got Xbox, all we do is just wait till February. That shit comes right to fucking Game Pass any fucking way.
Right.
Through EA Access. Like this whole, a lot of these, okay, Hogwarts Legacy was $70. That's different. That's a fucking new IP. They poured their heart into that fucking game, right?
Yeah.
So you could, the next Assassin's Creed, they'll probably pour their heart into that fucking game, right? Like you're not going to get me to pay $70 for a remake or a yearly iteration of some shit. That's over. And eventually, as Michael Pachter alluded to, everything's going to come to Game Pass. He was like, look, man, Warner Brothers might as well put the Hogwarts on Game Pass. Why not? They've already sold 12 million copies. They might as well go for the goddamn jugular and get every damn dollar they can. And he also alluded to the fact that, hey, Sony, you guys are stupid. Why don't you start putting your games day and date on fucking PlayStation Plus or Spartacus or fucking...
Hey, you know what? He even talked about that too. He even talked about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He talked about that. That's so stupid what they doing.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tuck. And what he said was, because Destin, I forget the exact question or the scenario, but it culminated in Michael Pachter saying, why would Microsoft put something on their service, on PlayStation service day one, when Sony don't even put their own games on day one?
That's right.
They don't. Right. And they won't.
Mm-hmm. They put one game, that was that Stray that they put on there. Hey, here's something else that Deploy 619 brought up at 4:19 p.m. He said, and this is what my boy Ramo and I and Zink Griffin talk about a lot. All PS4 games are disguised as PS5 games. And that's all this shit is, dude.
I never think about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen nothing impressive about what they've done yet. Not one thing.
That's true. That is true, man. That is true. And hey, I tell you what, Dustin made a mistake by doing that interview with Michael Pachter, because there was a lot of gamers watching that. And
everybody,
a lot of gamers was taking that in stride. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
That was the wrong thing to
do. He didn't do his due diligence and fully vet Michael Pachter. Like, I'd be like, man, what is this motherfucker going to say? Is he going to play the fence like I would and tell the Sony fan base it's all going to be okay? You're number one. You're still number one. You've got 48 million consoles sold. You got Spider-Man coming. No, Michael Pachter ain't do none of that shit.
Nope.
He went right for the jugular. And it was so much fun to watch at fucking 12 o'clock late in the night. So thanks to Xbox All In for letting us know that interview even happened. Because I had no idea that shit had happened. But after seeing it, I'm like, man, the media is finally coming around and acknowledging what you guys have said 3 years ago on our podcast. So it was just this has been a weird 3 years, hasn't it?
I love it, man. It's been excellent, E-Rock. I can't stand it. It's been so great.
Well, hey, Zink and E-Rock and even our brother Tuck. Now that this came out with the Michael Pachter interview, what's Sony gonna do now, man? Now that this is on, what are they gonna do now? They just gonna keep being in denial? And I mean, what are they gonna do now? What are the fans gonna say now? I mean, all this shit, what are they gonna do?
Well,
Michael Pachter's a liar. That's what they're gonna say.
Well, before we say anything, since Dia's biggest fan is in the chat, I won't be critical of Dia because she's not on this show. But Dia said hi, everyone. But Ramo is her biggest supporter. I don't want this dude cussing me out. It's like, hey, dude, don't say nothing bad about Dia. Keep saying something bad about Hebot since he ain't in the show. But
Dia, I sent you a link if you want to come in real quick. I sent you a link, Dia.
Yeah, hey. So anyway,
I sent you a link.
What I think.
Elder, let me have this little segment right here.
Take it away.
Okay, the only thing that Sony can really do at this point in time is eat crow, take the 10-year deal, and that's it. Because if they don't, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It is done for them as a business.
They'll go out of business quicker.
Right.
So
and they better go ahead and do it.
And here's Smitty Smith.
Foolish. Stop being so doggone dumb, and stop being so hard-headed that you ain't realizing that Microsoft gonna give you the best deal out there.
They're not going to do it.
I always have said, and if the deal didn't go through, what makes you think Activision gonna do that deal with you again? They'll never do that deal with you again. They'll never do that deal with you again. They would make it. They would make that thing so equal for both systems. Is pitiful.
They would rather be stupid.
They don't get that kind of deal no more.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tuck. Go ahead, E-Rock.
Hey, Sega man, I hope you sent the link today and not Tuck. He'll send her the link.
I sent it.
Yeah, because he'll send her the link to the Last Supper. They'll be like, who are you?
Where do you get those nice clothes from? Where did you get that nice car from? You don't have a car. How does that car run?
Hey, Rob, you don't leave me alone on that mess, okay?
The only good thing about that is when she comes back from the year fucking 30 BCE, we'll know whether Jesus is white or black. She'll have confirmation.
Oh man!
So thank you, Tuck, for sending her Lord knows where.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can't say nothing. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, and E, I'm telling you, man, and I'm telling you, Tuck, you can say that all you want about Sony. You tell them stop being stupid. This is the best deal that Microsoft's giving you. This is the best thing you could have. They're going to keep being stupid, Tuck.
We want them to be stupid. I love that interview. Justin Legary. You think they'll give Sony a better deal? He said no, they're not going to give them a better. They don't have to.
Yep.
We put our deal on the table. You rejected it. Bye.
Right. And he was arrogant about it, dude. I mean, it's the most amazing thing going back to what Tucker's saying. And what does Sony do? Sony literally has 2 games that we know about. Well, 3. No, just 2, because that the Final Fantasy game, that's not theirs.
It's not even theirs. That's not their game.
Correct. And then you have Wolverine, and then he said, "Well, we have 10 or 12 games that we're doing that's multiplayer games. What's the name of them? What's the name of it, Jim? You know, nobody presses them, so they don't have a future. And this is what, like you talked about, E-Rock. I talked about it. You can tell how rich or how well a company is doing by their investments. What are some investments? They have none. Here, people swore up and down Microsoft did so horrible in the Xbox One generation. And I keep telling people, I say, hey, all you see is the Sears Tower and how big that bitch is. You don't see how far in the ground the base is to hold that big ass building up. All you see is the tip of the iceberg. Most of it is below the water. You can't see it. But meanwhile, while everybody thought Microsoft wasn't doing anything in the Xbox One gen, hey, they was planting servers on all continents, including that island you talked about, E-Rock. What's that island?
Pago. No, the Pitcairn Islands.
Pitcairn Islands. There you go. They have a server over there. Okay.
I think that's where that what was that bitch, Amelia Earhart. That's where she got lost at. Hey, listen, Xbox One did so horrible, so terrible last generation that it built that company up to $675 billion, and they were able to buy Activision. Man, that's horrible. That's some bad management.
Hey, Sega Man, do you see Dia said that she asked where you sent that link?
I sent it through through email. Your email, like we did before when we did the interview. So
good luck.
It should be in your email. But
good luck. Good luck with the Romans. Be careful. Don't tell them where they sent you.
Hey, forget E-Rock, Sega Man. What you gonna say?
How about the part where Michael Pachter told him the CMAs didn't block Disney?
Yep.
The CMA didn't block. What's the other one?
The Amazon's acquisition of MGM.
Right.
We'll let E-Rock handle that. That's him in unlimited territory.
But they want to block the Microsoft.
Michael Pachter had said something that I've been saying forever. Where was the CMA and where was all these regulators when Disney bought up everything, bought up Fox? Where the hell were they when Amazon bought up MGM? And they basically bought MGM because they wanted one thing. They wanted James Bond. They're getting fucking Rocky Balboa as a fucking extra. But
Hey,
they
one
want,
second, E-Rock. Dia said, send it again, Sega man. She wants you to send. She
Yeah, I'm
wants you
sending it
to
to her
email
right
it.
now.
Okay, go ahead, E-Rock. I want to hear it.
And the other thing where I love what he said too. I'm trying to think what the hell did he say?
Let
He was
E-Rock
like-
finish that. I wanted to hear that because I don't know
Like,
this
he was
movie
saying,
stuff like
okay,
they do.
He was just saying, like, let's say like the CMA, they do block it. He said they little portion is so little it wouldn't even make no damn bigger difference what they do.
And they just
He
won't
said
have Call of Duty.
For 3 years, ain't a damn thing they can do about it.
Mhm.
nobody.
Damn thing they can do about it. So this shit, he said, it's going through.
Nobody cared that fucking Amazon bought MGM. Nobody cared that fucking Disney, who had already bought Star Wars and ruined it, already bought Marvel and played them the fuck out to the point of parody. Nobody cared that they bought fucking 20th Century Fox. Nobody cried Monopoly because nobody cared. You know who didn't cry? You know who didn't bitch like a little baby like Sony does? Netflix. Netflix didn't care. We now know that Netflix. The other Zinc always says it's going out of business and losing money. We now know that Netflix is the most powerful streaming service on the planet because Bob Iger, who's in charge of Disney, said, yo, we got to scale some of this shit back. We got to stop making Star Wars and stop making Marvel because this shit is fucking flopping, right? So but the point that Michael Pachter was making, Zinc, was that nobody tried to stop these big entertainment companies from monopolizing the entertainment industry and squeezing Netflix out, right? Netflix didn't bitch. Netflix didn't cry. So why is Sony bitching about Call of Duty? Why? Because it turns out, I found out, I didn't know, Hebot knew, that they need that motherfucker to fund their first party. How powerful of a Zinc can you be if you need a third-party game and a third-party deal to fund your first party?
Mm-hmm. And you
need that money. You need that money. I even said that myself. I said myself that a long damn time ago. They need that money to fund their damn games. So now check it out, y'all. Check it out. Now, since Microsoft's gonna go on ahead and get by Activision and Blizzard, let me ask you this. How much you want to bet Spider-Man's not coming out? How much you want to bet that Wolverine's not coming out? They need the money to make them games.
That would be disastrous.
No more. Hey, it's done.
Excellent point.
I don't know what's worse, E-Rock, disaster or catastrophe, but whichever one is worse, that would be just unbelievable.
Hey, I'm gonna take a saying from E-Box, what he has always have said. He'd be so glad when that Japanese company go downhill.
Well, he doesn't have much to wait for because it's happening right before our eyes. That's what's
Yes.
happening.
Can I introduce the first lady of chat, Dea 456 Dea? How you doing?
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Sega Man. Hello, everyone.
Hey, dear.
I hope you
Glad you
guys
can
are
join
doing
us.
good. Yeah, it's been interesting as far as news is concerned. I know you guys was talking about Michael Pachter. That was a surprising interview to me. I did not think I would see that on Dustin Legary's show.
What did you think about it, Dea? Give us your opinion on what did you think about that interview. It was very interesting.
It was. He said what I think I've heard from all you guys just in bits and pieces, but mostly from Hebot. Hebot, I think, has been saying this like for a long, long time. Maybe E-Rock. E-Rock has been saying it too. But he put into perspective, no longer can they, like what I had a frustration with was how people were still having hope when I saw no hope. Yeah. I understood that Sony was in a dangerous position. That's why I was joking and stuff the way I posted, but I saw that as a serious threat to them. Game Pass is a serious threat to them, and they have no answer. Like people was just saying, all they have to do is throw their games day and day. No, they have to do far more than that. Microsoft took years, if not a decade, building up the ecosystem they have today. They have their own servers. They're not losing money the way Sony is. They found ways to sustain themselves without relying on anybody else. Right now, yes, the indies and the third parties are helping, but they're going to get to a point where they're going to be similar to like a Nintendo. They're not going to need anybody. And they're well on their way, and they unlike Nintendo, they future-proof themselves. So Nintendo is not adapting to where the gaming industry is going, but Microsoft is. And not only are they adapting to it, they're paving the way for it. They're dragging everybody else with them. So this is what I saw. And Sony they're not even a Nintendo. Their games, I'm sorry, they don't sell like Nintendo games. They can't even rely on those. So they were always in a very dangerous position. I've said this before. The only reason they're still here is because the industry has been protecting them.
Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft had to take their licks, learn from them, and adapt. They're far better adapters than anybody else in the industry, if you ask me. So what I heard from Michael Pachter, he broke it down in terms that anybody can understand. How you look at it, they're doomed. After they announced the Activision Blizzard deal, they were doomed because nobody knew they relied so heavily on COD just to fund their games. I don't even think Microsoft fully understood that. I think we all had some suspicions, but to the degree, you think they knew to that degree that they
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Microsoft is sharp, dear. They knew because they know that Sony is a propaganda machine, and they're bolstered by Colin Moriarty, Jez Gordon, and all of these guys keep telling them and
Twitter.
You know how it is when a kid would keep lying. Eventually, that kid is going to believe that lie. So Sony actually believed they're as good as Destin and all of these YouTubers say they are, but the reality is it's all perception. That's
the roosters are coming home to roost at this point. Okay, they're in some deep trouble, and I don't know. I think King David said this, that he doesn't really foresee a PlayStation 6. I kind of agree with that. I think they're going to probably pivot in such a way where they may not be in the console market anymore because they have to sell so many of those. And then when you really saw how much of the market the console is, it's not enough. It's not enough for them to grow to sustain themselves on the scale of a Tencent or an Embracer or Apple or Google or anything. The portion that these people get is huge, and that's what Microsoft is going after.
And see, dear, let me capitalize on what you just said. See, those companies that you named, they aren't reliant on a console to generate their income. And a console's research and development is enormous. That is an enormous funding process. And Tencent don't have to do that. They don't have a console. Apple just kick back and let software, and people jumping on their service generate their income. So Sony, depending on hardware, it's going to kill them. And I'm
Dia, you know what's always been funny? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You know what's always been so funny? No matter what podcast I go into, whether it's Mr. 100's podcast or Sega Man Hears or Unlimited, you always get the comments in the comments section from these PlayStation fans who are either 12 years old, just started getting into this console war nonsense, or even some older people that are in their 40s and should know better. But I always say, well, PlayStation sold 45 million consoles and they're way ahead and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys, you're clinging to an old business model that doesn't exist anymore. And hell, even back in the Sega Genesis days, I didn't know anything about the razors and razor blade model, where Sega said, we're going to sell you the razor, but we really want you to buy the razor blades. We don't give a fuck. We don't give a damn about the razor. The razor throwaway. We need you to buy the software. That's where we make our money. Sega said this decades ago. Decades ago, the console was irrelevant. We need you to buy the software. That's where the money is. And so, for these Sony fans to still be like, 45 million consoles sold. I just look at that comment and say, well, if you sold so many consoles, why didn't you buy Activision? Now we know.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point, because for the amount of consoles I can commend them on that much, but that's it.
Yeah.
Nobody buys their software, and we know this without a doubt. When a whole studio collapses because nobody on their side buys a game that was exclusive to them, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yep.
And you know something, Gogo Poe says something interesting here. And he says, you know, Mike, and it goes a different way where I'm going. It's just all all encompassing deal what Microsoft does. They just don't stop. He says, you know, Microsoft is adapting by the way they put so much care into Game Pass. The titles they find are all well thought out and have variety. And to coincide with that, it's everything Microsoft does.
But I'm upset at them, man, because it's taking all my memory away. Shit.
Hey, check it out. The way, we could hear you. But what I wanted to add to what Gogo Poe said is that you know the packaging that you have. When you open up your Xbox Series,
that's what I was gonna say. You took that right. Yeah.
Go ahead, dear. Go on off then. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, the way I felt like I was like an elite gamer, man. I opened that box and the way it was packaged, the way it was
like it was a presentation to you.
Yes,
you felt you bought a premium product versus some shit from the dollar store.
That's it, E-Rock. I felt like I bought the best of the best and that I was being appreciated for it. That's what I felt like when I opened that box. And I was like, look at this. Look at how I love the system. You guys know that it's my second favorite system of all time, but the presentation of it,
Hold on, we have to boot her off the show. What's your first favorite system?
It's just everything.
What's your first favorite system?
The Sega Saturn.
It's the Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
That's the greatest launch lineup in the history.
I agree. And that one for sentimental reasons and just how innovative that console was for its
with
time.
The big visual memory.
Right. Yeah, that was the first I ever seen anything like that. So yeah, that's my favorite because of a lot of things. You know, it was my first and things like that.
Dia, have you ever seen an unboxing of a PlayStation 5 and seen how cheap that packaging is? So E-Rock, what does that have to do with anything? It's very telling. It's like the Xbox 360, a very successful console, but I used to always give consumer electronic products the shake test. And if I'm shaking your box and it's rattling and shit, that means it's loose parts inside. So I mean, you know, this is a totally different Xbox. This is an Xbox. Ever since the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, designed by the Surface Pro team. But when you open that boxing for the Xbox Series X, like you said, it feels like you paid for something special versus you can tell who has the money and who don't. It's little telltale signs, little telltale things.
Quality. That's what it looks like.
And I'm gonna tell you, dude, in school we learned that at the time at least 36% of all products is packaging. That looked like 40% right there. That was gorgeous. That was beautifully done. But I'm glad you saw what I saw. What we all see.
Even PlayStation people saw that. I saw unboxing packages for Xbox before I had it because I had the PC Game Pass first. I was thinking about getting the console and I said, let me take a look at what it looks like, how it's done. I was impressed. I just had a hard time getting the Xbox, so that's what took me as long as it did. It was just I couldn't find them, you know. So, but when
you had a hard time in Sega, man, Jesus Christ,
man, I ended up buying mine. I ended up buying mine as a bundle from Microsoft, but I didn't regret it because I needed 2 controllers and all that stuff anyway. So I just bought it directly from them. They had it finally, and they told me they had it available, so I just went and got it.
But,
I'm sorry.
Be okay. I apologize for interrupting, but I sat in line 17 hours to get my Xbox.
Wow.
Damn.
And it was 34 degrees.
Your brother Zink is dedicated.
That's hardcore.
I was the 3rd dude in line. But and the second in line was this old ass couple. And they were like, yeah, we get in it for our nephew. I was like, shit.
that dropped off some
Dude,
Xbox.
I was very lucky to get mine. The first one I was very lucky to get. I went to the GameStop.
You went to Best Buy, didn't you? You rolled up in the Chitlin Mobile, jumped out, and got the Xbox.
I mean, but the first I went to GameStop and I saw a lot of people in line, and I stood there, and I wasn't going to get in front of people that already got this, who already got this pre-order. He said he had some extra ones, but I didn't feel right about doing that. So I went to Best Buy. I went to Best Buy that same day when it came out, and this man one that told me, he said, dude, we taking pre-orders already. And I went on there and got mine, I went on there and pre-ordered it, got it within like 5 days.
Yeah.
And then the second one I got it off the game. I got off the Access store.
You got like, don't you got like 10 Series X's, don't you?
10.
He got a lot, deal. How many
like
Xboxes you have?
Don't you got like 3 or 4, Tuck?
You see, I got.
Oh, here we go. Go ahead.
I got 2 Xbox Series X.
I
got 1 Xbox. I got 1 Xbox S. I bought my son an Xbox Series X. So I bought 3 of them. I got 1 S, and then I got 1 Xbox X in my house. So
how in the world did you find so many of those things? Like, I had a hard time getting mine.
It's Oklahoma. He usually wait till Best Buy is hit by a tornado, and then he just walk in there and grab that shit.
Oh my God!
The first time I got lucky by going to Best Buy, and I went on there and pre-ordered. I got real lucky that day.
Yeah.
And I got it there, and then I bought the other one, bought the other 2 off the Access store during that time, because I know my son wanted one. I wanted to get another one anyway for myself.
Yeah.
Just in case, and I got that one in my bedroom, so I wanted that for my bedroom. Yeah. So, but I went through the All Access program to get them through Best Buy, and they was doing it too. And he about to help me with that. He about said, yeah, you won't get another one. Got to go to the All Access store, and you can get one at your house. And I mean, within a week, I went to Best Buy and got both of them. So, the Access.
But
that's how that story went. But I tell you right now, I'm going to let you know a little front about all this stuff was going on. Okay, let's look at Xbox history right quick. I'm going to take that back down memory lane. And all these damn Sony fans always talk about all the 360, the 3 Rings of Death, the Era 75 and all that stuff. What did Microsoft do? Microsoft went in there and told them, nope, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and still make them. We're going to make them better. And they stayed alive. And you think Sony didn't want them to stay alive? I mean, if Microsoft had the money to keep the system rolling, and that's just what they did. I mean, dude, when I was doing that time when I was fixing that 3 Rings of Death, I was fixing the Era 75 and all that stuff on these son of guns. I was making money off these 360s. Hell, I was probably making maybe like $250 a week on them, because that's during that time. But when they start production the new Xbox 360, all that stuff stopped.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff stopped. And the thing about it is, if it wasn't because of Microsoft, it would have died. It would have died big time.
Well, it wasn't even Microsoft. It was just Steve Ballmer. All he had to say to Peter Moore was like, "Bruh, no," and it was done. I mean, he went straight to him. Go ahead.
Hey, Zink and Tuck, let me just say one thing about Dia was saying too about her Xboxes and the Xboxes period, and E knows this too. One of the great things about these new Xboxes, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, yes, it's the most powerful, and if you want, that 4K and all that, that's cool. But the Xbox Series S, though, one really fantastic thing about that too is it's known for it's known for its emulation.
Exactly. Yeah.
It can play PlayStation 2
Yeah.
games. It can play N64 games, Sega Genesis. It can play all these systems. I've seen so many videos, guys, that these guys adore the Series S because it's a great emulation box, and they're flying off the shelves like crazy.
That's what I want to get an S for. It's as an emulator because I love
emulation. It can play PlayStation games. That
That's
PlayStation
crazy.
game you play on their own system.
Hold on, guys, Dia and Sega Man. So what are you talking about? The X cannot do this?
No, the X can, but they always. I guess it's easier to do for the S.
Easier
I think
for
the
S.
X can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but please let the audience know it's a bit entailed. It's not like you can play those games right out of the box. You gotta there's a lot. You gotta turn your Xbox Series X and X into a developer's console.
A
dev kit. You got to give Microsoft like $20 or whatever, and then you got to find the files and shit. It's a bit much, but it does work.
Okay.
But you know what? The sad part, though, E-Rock, about that whole thing is that the Series S can play PlayStation games, and if they can't even play PlayStation games on there, right? The S does it better than their own company. That's pretty bad, bro.
Hey, Dia, since we got you here, what else you think about that interview there?
Well, when I was in the chat area, because I caught that, I think when he first brought that out, I guess, because I saw people.
Did you catch it live, Dia?
I think I did, yeah. And people, one thing that surprised me about that, because I like to pay attention to what chat rooms do.
Yes.
And it was surprising. It was like the PlayStation guys. I mean, and I don't mean the ponies, okay? The PlayStation fans. I know people who own PlayStations and stuff. It was like a reality check. They were very quiet at first, and then some of them said, I kind of saw the writing on the wall. They were accepting it slowly as he continued on explaining what he was saying, because nobody could refute what he was saying. Not that he's absolutely right about everything, but he was bringing facts from his experience.
Yeah.
Okay? So they really couldn't say anything about it. And I just saw, like, right before my eyes, the great disappointment and the hurt that the people in the chat room was feeling. It was a lot more PlayStation people in there than I thought it was going to be. So, and I realized that, okay, I think they've been listening to the media, and the media just always frames things as if Sony's they're doing the greatest thing in the world, stopping Microsoft and all that. But when Pachter broke everything down and they understood the reality of the situation, it was a hard blow for them. And that's, despite all the things that he was saying, that's what stood out to me. So what happens with these people if they feel like Sony doesn't have a great future? What are they going to do? Are they going to stick it out with Sony, or are they going to move somewhere else? I don't know. But it's like the way they were talking in the chat room was like, this is the beginning of the end. And I don't think these were ponies, because they would have been delusional.
Well, so Dia, would you say that in the beginning, before all this happened, this would have never happened if they would have took that 10-year deal?
No.
Their image and their reputation is damaged. Okay, so
you go.
I think that part can't come back, because now here's another thing too. I think it was Dustin that had I got to give him some credit. I don't like the guy because I know he's.
Hey, Sega Man, push that red button that'll eject Dia.
Before you eject me, let me redeem myself, okay? But he's been covering this Microsoft thing pretty good in that he's been reading out the information and I'm forming my own opinions, but the information, I'm glad he's gathering it so I don't have to, okay?
I agree with you there. I agree, yeah.
And not do that too with Hogue Law, because I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
Who? And
Post does it, and it's one other guy. I'm forgetting. Plume Network.
Plume, yes, he's been doing so. Thank goodness for these guys, because I don't have time to do it.
Agreed.
But what he's been doing is he's also been like bringing people who have some knowledge and stuff, and sharing some of their opinions. And it was this one guy that brought out a point nobody brought out. he thinks that Sony's going to be in trouble because they're going to have a lot of their dirty laundry aired out, and it isn't just the FTC. He said that there's a lawsuit over there in the UK.
Yep.
From I guess some gamers or something. I don't know. Maybe Sony did something over there.
They were charging too much.
Okay, that's what. But that's still an active case right now.
Correct.
When that information comes out from the FTC, because they will get it. Sony is not going to dictate to the FTC what they will and won't do. Okay, they will get what they ask for. When that comes out, that's going to be fair game for that other lawsuit. So let's say Sony wants to dodge that information coming out with the FTC, and they settle with Microsoft, and then the FTC does, they don't go through. Maybe the FTC settles. Okay. That doesn't stop that information from coming out because that lawsuit is still coming down the pipe from the UK. And I did not know that. So I was like, this is going to be a bad couple of years for Sony. There's no way they're getting out of it. Even if they did a move like that and settled with Microsoft, it's too late at this point, I think, with them. But even if they did that, they're not dodging what's coming up behind them. And that lawsuit is still coming. And you know how the UK takes consumer-based type of lawsuits. They take that a lot seriously over there. I mean, that's a big deal, So I think that they're in a lot of trouble. And
I forgot who posed that question. You or Tuck.
Hey Zeke, your favorite person in the chat, Deploy 619, bought 5 Series X's and 4 Series S's. God damn.
Hey man, I don't know if E-Rock heard it. I don't know if you heard me earlier. Deploy,
yeah, he got me beat. God, no.
Deploy snapped on Sean's show. He went, it was like he had enough. He pulled the pastor and just straight off. But hey, I stand corrected though on what you're talking about, because if they would have accepted Microsoft's offer and it never got to court and Brazil aired them out.
Yes.
So if they could have avoided the Brazil thing, then they could have survived longer. But now that it's gone through all of these courts and we have literally tens of thousands of pages, no, they crispy toast.
Well,
and not to mention the
Dan,
industry.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's not to mention all the bridges they burned. I mean, that's coming. Look, that may be a silent killer that we don't really see how it's going to affect them in the industry. But do you think people have forgotten how they just toss all of their in-house studios under the bus? God, I mean, people. I'm like, do you see what they're saying? They almost act like they don't even need those other studios. Bungie just joined up with them. Imagine how Bungie feels.
Yeah,
I mean, good. At least if they had came over to Microsoft, Microsoft would be praising them because all that Bungie did for Microsoft back in the day, that's appreciated over here, and it still is, even if Bungie is gone. It's still appreciated.
Dude, there would be no Xbox if it weren't.
It wouldn't. But just imagine though, from a company that you just joined up with, making it seem like, and I'm sorry they have, because I haven't heard anything from Sony's management really praising Bungie and all this stuff. What do they say about their studios? Nothing. But at this point, that they're not good enough. That's all I hear. And so.
Michael Pachter, Michael Pachter, he mentioned that too in that interview. Michael Pachter was on fire in that interview. Michael Pachter was like, so Xbox buys Activision, and Sony's dumb response is to buy Bungie. He's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, man, he said everything we said 3 years ago, but them Sony fanboys was like, Iron Wolf, man, what a way to respond, Sony. That's how you get them back. You buy a bunch like Bungie. Bungie ain't made nothing relevant since Halo 4. What Destiny?
Yeah, but Destiny is a money maker though.
It is a money maker.
It make money over and over and over again, and that's something that they do not have. And they know the methodology, they know the business model to turn something into a cash cow like that. Sony don't have that technology or the knowledge. That was a purchase.
And the thing about it is they let Bungie do what they normally do. They're gonna still make for both systems.
Well, it's not that they let them. Did you? Hogue Law read the terms of that contract. And Bungie holds all of the cards.
Yep.
All of them.
Yeah.
So Sony can't let them do nothing. Actually, Bungie bought Sony. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they out of there when they go and when they crash and burn, you best believe Bungie is out of there.
They
They're
up.
not staying
Yes, it
anywhere
was
near that
beautiful.
fire, that disaster zone when that
No,
thing comes down.
no.
Think of it like the World Trade Center. That thing is coming down.
Yeah, no doubt. Anybody above that plane crash was in trouble.
Hey, Zink.
I mean,
So, are you
hey,
guys
fellas, if
saying
you
that
really
the
want to think about it, look at all the bad practices Sony has done. TV division looking real bad. The computer division crashed. It's not even relevant no more. The CD players, I don't even see them no more. I mean, whenever I would go to a Best Buy, all I see is everybody else in their TVs. Nobody's not even talking about them no more. Everybody told Sony a long time ago when the competition was coming with these TVs to start lowering your prices so so you can stay in the industry. But now everybody they caught up with them.
Well,
Everybody.
the thing about Sony with their TVs, before I get to Unlimited's point, they have to charge a lot for their TVs because LG makes parts for Sony TVs, and so does Samsung. So you're going to have to add cost on your own just because my name is Sony. Because
No, I'm talking about during that time before they started doing all this mess. They told them a long time ago to start lowering your prices on your TVs.
but they felt that they were
get
Sony.
involved with Samsung and LG. I'm talking about before then.
that's because they were being arrogant, dude.
Correct. They were being
Right.
Sony. Sony
And they,
being
yeah,
Sony.
it's being arrogant. So,
But
but everybody
Unlimited,
told them to lower your prices, but they didn't want to do it. So the hell with them.
and like Dia was talking about it, it was a separation between ponies and the real Sony fans. And
Right.
Unlimited said Sony fans thought when Sony bought Halo, when they bought Bungie, they actually thought they bought Halo. They actually thought that. And I at first I thought, people were talking trash, like we'll sometimes go off our rocker and talk some trash, but when they started, Turboverse TV was reading comments, and Sony fans actually thought that Sony bought Bungie, and that meant that they owned Halo. It was the funniest things, and it shows you how delusional a lot of those fanatics are.
No, there's delusional and then there's dumb. We've been telling y'all for years these guys are just dumb. Just dumb. They just all they know is what they're told from these YouTubers. They don't Google. They don't try to find out any facts. Like the fact that you actually thought that because they bought Bungie, they now own Halo, and that was some kind of ownage on Microsoft, was just ridiculous. When 343 Studios took over Halo, what, over a decade ago? Like these guys are just dumb. These guys are just dumb, and I'm not going to miss them. I'm not going to miss Sony. And this has just been a wild 3 years, but it is not over. 2023 is just starting. I can only imagine how the rest of this year is going to go because it's all out there now. It's all Sony's stuff that Heatbot's been talking about for years is now all out there for the whole world to see, Sega Man.
It's aired out.
Fantastic. Yep, it is out there.
Hey, so the other one that's not on board, if I'm correct, guys, is it England? They're against it? Is it London?
It's
Is it
CMA.
It's the CMA. That's all of theirs, and and then the EU. But it's not that they're not on board. They just haven't given Sony the final blow. That end move.
Yeah.
And like Pactor said, it doesn't matter what either one of them do. It really
That's
doesn't matter.
true.
They cannot win.
They're a real small entity.
And Zink has been saying that forever.
I have.
So I mean, I'm like they just caught up with Zink at this point. You know.
Yeah.
And I like relishing on it, especially on some shows where they thought I was full of shit. I love gaming, man. I honestly do. I really love it. Have loved it since '76. Never missed a generation. And I love the industry. And sometimes there's bad business, and there are people that don't need to be it's like cancer. It's like, or the bad apple. You cut that apple out before it ruins everyone else, or you get that bad kid out of there before they ruin the team. Sony is a bad kid in the industry that I like. They can get out of here.
Hey, Alizé, let me ask you this, Alizé. Now I'm gonna ask you this. Now, is it kind of strange
Other
that
zinc,
people
nigga.
always
Just
talking
say,
about?
just say,
I was trying to hold that back. That was
Ask you this, Alizé. Now, is it strange that people is not talking about Halo no more since they brought out season 3?
Oh well, they try and tuck, and, you know, and I was on that too. It's people trying to still downplay Halo, you know, and it's Maddie plays, and it's all of that Sony crew that claim they're Xbox people, and the way they try and do it, they try and say, oh, well, it's not big on PC or whatever. Hey, bruh, PC has never been the barometer of success for a console, especially for Halo. They like Counter Strike, like we said earlier in the show. But you cannot deny the game has been uh, in the top 20 for 15 months. And
And it might be in the top 10 now.
Like
Since
Erock likes
season
to
3 came out.
like Erock likes to talk about, and all of us like to talk about the one game that killed Horizon Forbidden Entertainment. Hold on, Unlimited is here. He loves Horizon Forbidden Entertainment. What's that game?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
oh
Elden Ring was ahead of Halo. Now Elden Ring is back in 28 or 30 or somewhere. Meanwhile, Halo is still up there, being consistent. You know, and now that this, oh, I'm glad you said that. Uh, so I could get this out. D- Dude, people always said that it's desync issues in Halo. Mint Blitz released a show today of his best moments of season 3. Dude, the gameplay on that, I've never seen gameplay that great in my life. And Mint Blitz is so great playing Halo, and they
mhm.
tied one and won 2 matches by 1 point. And there's other people out there that's that good. This dude is a reigning terror. So if the game were that bad, it had to be something off, dude. It's something to see. He just had the greatest clips of season 3 because they've been playing a lot, and the gameplay he had up there was amazing. This dude grapple hooked a banshee, the grapple hook go, and pointed his sniper rifle, shot somebody in the head on the way to the ground, dude.
Wow.
It,
I gotta see that.
hey, hey, it was so amazing. He had that show. It was earlier today, probably around maybe between about 10 or 12 o'clock. It was before E-Rock and Unlimited show.
I gotta check that out because
It
that
was
sounds
amazing. It's
And I
only
tell you
about
right
4 minutes, but it
now,
was incredible.
I tell you right now, the last time I played it, I was playing online. I was in one of them flying ships. Man, the guy got in the flying ship and threw me out the ship. I was like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, take you
threw
out of the
me
ship.
out.
You better hope that he didn't aim the ship at you and shoot you on your way to the ground.
yeah,
Well, that's
that's
true.
brutal.
Yeah, they
I
crazy.
want to add something to the Halo
Damn.
thing though. I love Halo, man. I love the story, I love
Go
the
ahead, Dia.
lore, I love everything about it. But what I want to say is that Halo is not going to be like a Call of Duty and I'm okay with that. Not every game is going to be. It doesn't mean that a game is greater or lesser than. Some games just earn a lot of money because they're everywhere. Like Minecraft's everywhere, right? But
Yeah.
are there better games? Sure.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
Minecraft's
when
the
you
best
think
at what
so.
it does.
Mhm.
Okay, I think, in my opinion, I own that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But I also think that you may have other games that do some things or some aspects better than what Minecraft do. But Minecraft is going to always make the money. Okay,
Yes.
Halo is going to always
That's
be
a
in
gold
its
mine.
own lane because it's a unique shooter. I
And it
can't
makes the
find
money.
any. I can't find. It does make its money,
Hmm.
but not in the same way that a COD does. It doesn't mean
No,
that that's the measure of success. You
mm-mm, but
got games that fall, that are successful at things from different perspectives. Some games just earn a lot. Some have a lot of history. Some have longevity. Other games are able to evolve. It's different. Like we was talking about Capcom at one point, how the Resident Evil franchise is still going, but that franchise has evolved over time. Now, whether some people like it or not is irrelevant. It still does well, right? It's still popular, but it doesn't sell the most of everything out there. So I just wanted to say that Halo is healthy, it's doing good. It doesn't have to be a COD. And now when COD comes into the family, it's not going to be competing against Call of Duty. That's going to be the problem for Sony to worry about, because they don't have Halo to worry about anymore. They have COD too, because now Halo and COD are brothers. Okay, from now on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, dear. Call of Duty is on more systems. It's on
That's
the
true.
consoles.
That's
so
true.
you're gonna get your income double, if not a little more. But Halo. This is what Microsoft thought of Call of Duty. They had the rights to Call of Duty. They could have kept them. They let it go. They let it go.
That's true.
Sony picked it up, but they let it go because they had enough money makers. It's like we talk about Sea of Thieves is a money maker. Halo is a money maker. Rambo, your biggest fan.
Gears
Simulator
is a money maker.
Gears is a money maker. Rambo played Flight Simulator. This dude done spent about $500 on planes. And I know more people that bought more than that. But Call of Duty is huge. But going to what you're saying, dear, you hear people saying, let's see, Unlimited is not in here, and Hebot. We'll get this one to Hebot. Hebot's favorite game. Sony, they can't do Marlin Gaming. Hebot loves Marlin Gaming. Of course, I'm tripping. But Marlin Gaming said Resistance, Mag, Killzone, SOCOM. Hey, Sony have all of these great IPs. Why don't you bring that? That could easily compete with Call of Duty. Like you're saying, dear. Why are you going to try and go for number one, or in Fortnite, number 1 or 2 with Call of Duty? You haven't beat Halo in 20 years.
Exactly.
Why don't you try and beat Halo first?
I don't even know why. Like, man, we about to get on Redfall
Bruh,
and these guys are still talking about Halo. Halo has never. Halo has never, in my existence of knowing Halo, since Halo CE back in the day, Halo has never been about the casuals. You are not going to walk into the Atlantic City Convention Center and see a bunch of casuals in there having a fucking LAN party. You ain't not going to see that shit. Halo is not about the casuals. That's what Call of Duty is for. Halo is not about the casuals, man. That's what Resident Evil is for. Halo is not about the casuals. That's what Elden Ring is for, which is why Elden Ring dropped to 20 and ain't nobody talking about Elden Ring no more. It was a viral sensation last year, and now it's gone.
Right.
But the hardcore, like other Zinc, like Mr. 100, they are still playing Halo. That's Halo's audience. The guys that's been buying it for years, and they're going to keep buying it and play it after the campaign is over. Halo exists in its own space. It is not a competition with nothing else out there. End of story.
Mm-hmm. And what E-Rock just said, I heard somebody talking about Xbox. Oh, that's what they were doing. Starfield being late, and that's a whole nother show.
Oh gosh,
late. They early, ain't they? They're supposed to come out in November and said they're coming out September.
Hey E-Rock. Hey man, your favorite person in the chat, Deploy 619, bought 4 PS5s. Damn, dude.
Damn.
Oh my gosh, is he rich? How is he able to afford all that? Oh my god.
My PS5, but he was able to sell 4 of them.
Yeah, he said he did. I think he said he able to sell 4 of them. Damn.
Okay, so he makes his money back. Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
he's
so
hustling.
Back to E-Rock though, and I've been wanting this. I said this on in somebody's chat, but people tripping off of Starfield being delayed. Bro, we got too much shit to play right now. Like E-Rock said the other day, he was like, bro, I'm deleting shit. He told us he deleted like 6 games, that he didn't get a chance to start. And then Redfall is coming.
I'm getting ready for that.
I'm playing Age of Empires. Dia was talking shit the last show. She was over here like, what was that game you waiting on? The game coming out in June, Dia?
Oh, Diablo 4.
Diablo.
Yeah.
It's too much. We have too much right now on our plate, So, I could wait.
It's going to be a monster. People sleep on Diablo. That's going to be a monster.
Yeah, it is.
I could wait.
That's gonna be first party. Think about that, guy. I mean, just think about that.
Diablo.
Not only that, the game that we don't play. What's that one game? World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Dude, all of these games, and I just hope Starfield stays away from Forza, because for me and Sega, man, I'm not playing it. I won't play anything but. for a straight month. Yeah.
Zing, who's this dude in the chat, man? He said Jim Ryan gave out 5 PS5s or gave out PS5s to all the CMA board members last Christmas.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's Paulie Baba. Yeah, yeah. You know, they talk like that. But, you know, he's giving them everything, buying them cookies. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this:
Uh-oh.
Gears of War, how's it still doing? That's what I want to know.
They're still doing good.
Awesome.
Gears of War came out in 2019. Of course, Sega Man and I know I play it every day.
Active players every day on there.
Yeah, and I saw a list of the top 100 games of you know, to date. Gears came out in 2019. It was 63rd. And this other game that people like to talk a lot about was 64. I forgot which one it was. But yeah, 63rd. People and you know, and I play this game, and you know, people complain about battle passes and things like that. I'm totally maxed out in Gears. It's nowhere to go. And I told this to Mint Blitz because Mint Blitz is now, this dude is great. It's like me telling Hogue Law about Law, and I only had 1 year. He had the other 7. And this, you know, Mint Blitz, I ain't shit in Halo. I get fired up when I finish a game, and I was 6-10 the other day, and I put the winning flag in. I thought I was the shit, but you know, I'm not on Mint Blitz level. But I told Mint Blitz on one of his shows, I said, hey man, stop complaining and nitpicking about small things like what you could buy in the store. The game is great, you know, because they were complaining about something that was available last year is available with one minor change today. I said, hey, your consumers changed. You know, those people are new to the game, so they didn't see those things that you saw a year ago. You know, I said it's marketing, so you'd have to just settle down, man. Y'all, it's a great game. They made it under duress after COVID-19. It's a great game. And then he released that video I just told y'all about. That, this dude is elite, man.
What about what Paulie Bubba said about the Starfield?
Release date, but I think
he said that it's a good move to polish the game more and not step on the toes of the.
I want to address that because I've been addressing that in chats everywhere. I'm sorry. I want to clarify that Microsoft has been struggling with placement of their games. They are brand new to this, so they've done this before. But when you have so many titles, they had to make a choice. Do we honor the 12-month thing, okay, which is not as important because all the games are coming out this year? That's why the year never changed. Or do we just place the games where it's healthiest for Game Pass and for the game? And what they decided to do was to do that. It made no sense to just try to cram everything in that first half, because that you got other companies that's having problems with that as well. It's just too many games at the first half of I agree. 2023. So they didn't want to release it during the time of E3 because you're going to have your showcase on. You know, obviously Starfield's going to have their showcase, you know, the independent one, but they're going to be probably most likely during E3 talking about the next upcoming game. So that's going to take a lot of thunder away from things. So once things settle down, September is a great month to release Starfield. People can really get into it. The hype is up. Hopefully the deal is done. It's a great time for Starfield to come out, I think. And as for competing against Diablo 4, I 100% agree with that. I think that if Microsoft is looking at that, it's like that's a potential first party game, and we don't want to step on that. Diablo 4 is very popular, so instead of having our fan base having to choose between those two, and then I'm telling you, Diablo has a long running fan base, so they made
huge fan base.
It's huge, man, and so why would you put your game? Look. Especially if that's a potential first party, why place it there when you don't have to? Microsoft is not concerned about Starfield. I'll just let people know they're not terrified of Zelda. They're not terrified of Spider-Man. They're not terrified of that, okay? Because Bethesda releases classic, legendary, award-winning games. So let me repeat that. They release award-winning games
that also have huge followings. Hey, dear, let me jump on you for a second, going on along with Paulie Baba and what you guys are talking about here. Okay. Not only that, you have to think about Microsoft didn't own Bethesda yet while they were making Starfield. They didn't own them. So they were making that game, I guess, for the PS4, the Xbox One, the PS5, and the Xbox. So now they don't have to do that. So Jason Ronald and his team was like, no, man, let's delay the game and let's make it with our full RDNA 2 in mind. Now it's sort of like when Microsoft bought Bungie in '99, and they had 9 months to convert Halo from Apple to an Xbox, and they did it. They have to change all of that bad stuff they had with that last gen ass PS5 and now make it for a brand new Xbox Series X, S, and PC. And that's what you're getting right now. So you're gonna get that game. Also, it's product planning. You have to position your product in the market when it's going to be most effective. Exactly. Also, it's getting close enough to crush freaking Spider-Man. Of course, you're not going to crush Spider-Man because Spider-Man is Spider-Man and it's going to sell regardless. But at least they'll have a super formidable game to
two different audiences
to counter that, right?
Yeah,
and it's two different audiences anyway.
That's what I was going to
say. The people that are hyped for Starfield don't give a damn about Spider-Man and vice versa. The people that are hyped for Spider-Man don't give a damn about Starfield. But here's the thing.
It's the buzz that gets it. Yeah.
But here's the thing. The first Spider-Man game came out in 2018. Who's playing that shit?
Nobody.
Right.
Now. How many people on YouTube do you see are still playing Skyrim?
Everybody.
Man, Skyrim came out in 2012.
Yeah.
What year is this?
I think Dr. Vaca said it's like 20 million people playing Skyrim.
That's the kind of games that Bethesda makes. So that was what was the better purchase? Sony fans, did you always say, oh man, they bought Naughty Dog or Sonic, whoever? No, man, Bethesda was a way better purchase because now I own Elder Scrolls, I own Doom, I own Wolfenstein. Man, Xbox is, I was saying to somebody the other day in a conversation on Instagram, Xbox is positioned for the next 30 years. I probably, the way this planet's going, I won't be around. None of us will be around, but Xbox is, they're leveraged. I've never seen anything like this. This
beautiful.
This last 3 years has just been, my God, you can't even call it a comeback. You could just call it perfect planning for the last 11 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So guys, in closing, because it's getting kind of late. We've been on here, I think, long enough, but we got an E3 that's going to be coming up. I think Microsoft they're having a show before E3.
It's all the same thing. It's nothing different. E3 starts, they have a little something before the conferences, and then the conferences are like Sunday.
Well, let me start with you, Zink. They're going to be having these events that are going to be going on, circling around E3. What do you think, and what is your prediction, Microsoft and Xbox? What do you think we're going to be getting? Something even newer? Or what do you think they're going to be talking about, man? Do you think we'll be getting some surprise drops again, like Hi-Fi Rush? What do you think, Zink?
I'm glad you asked me because I'm going to have to get out of here. But I hope, I don't, I'm not one of those predictors, but I hope we see something in Gears. I hope that they tell us that Forza is dropping July 1st and have a commercial or talk about the auto race that's going to be up here in Chicago. I hope they have something to coincide with that, and I hope that track is in the game, but I doubt it. But those are hopes. But no, man, I'm just excited for Microsoft being at the conference, like journalists try and say they're not, but they are. They're right across the street, So I'm just looking forward to the event, and I'm looking forward to seeing 100 and them do their little thing from it. So I'm just excited about it, dude. E3 is my biggest day of the year every year.
Right.
Zink, you're not looking forward to the inevitable Forza Motorsports Dale Earnhardt NASCAR DLC? I know you're looking forward to that. I know you waiting for that shit with bated breath.
For the comeback of Cal Penn.
Hey, Sega Man, he was the only one upset when Bo and Luke Duke left the Dukes of Hazzard.
Hey, while you tripping, E-Rock, I also had a Born Luke Duke car with that Confederate flag on the top too. While you
Hey, that car was the truth, man. I don't know why
It
everybody.
was.
Yeah, that car was the truth, man. They got to take everything from our youth and make it bad. God damn it,
Yes,
man.
That's true.
and I asked my mother about that. She said, "Yeah, I knew that was a Confederate flag up there." She was like, "Well,
Uh-huh.
you were a kid. I'll teach you about that. I'll teach you about everything. And my mother did. So, but
Them
they
Southerners, they still mad about that shit. We can't have our Confederate flags. We don't tell you Northerners not to shoot each other. Kind of bullshit is this?
yeah, hey, but that's how dedicated I am, man. Sega Man called me, and I just sat down to watch the NASCAR race. I had some Lou Malnati's pizza. I put that shit back in the box and got on this show. Now I have to watch the race later on tape delay. But hey, man, I'm glad we had a show. I'm glad Dia jumped on here, and I'll listen to the rest of the show. But I got to get out of here.
All right, Zink. Thanks for
Okay.
coming, brother.
All
Take
right,
care,
yeah,
Zink.
yeah.
What do you mean he got to
Cheers.
catch the? What do you mean he got to catch the race? You don't miss NASCAR. Them niggas still, they still racing. All they do is race around in a circle for about 5 hours until this little guy wave a checker flag. The nigga that win is the one guy that didn't run out of gas. You ain't miss nothing, man.
Hey, but I'm glad Xbox all in. He said I could vouch for Nick. I love. He said he went
Yep,
to
he did.
Daytona.
He did right here.
In the chat. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go so I can get away from E-Rock's slander. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.
All right, Zink. All right, man. And on that, man, I want to ask you, E-Rock, man. We got these events that are going to be coming up soon. Everybody, I believe, and Xbox is excited for E3 and the post shows before they have it. So, E-Rock, what are you expecting Microsoft might do, man, for us, man? Do you think there'll be some surprise drops of games like they did a month or so ago with Hi-Fi Rush? Man, what do you think about the upcoming event for Xbox?
Hellblade 2.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all. That's gonna shut shit down. Twitter is going to explode. PlayStation fans are going to be in the streets rioting. It's going to be attacks. It might be kidnappings. Hellblade 2, built from the ground up on Unreal Engine 5. Hellblade 2. If they show that, is over. It's to the point now where somebody, please stop the beatdown. Please stop the bludgeoning. Listen, I wanted to defeat the PlayStation fans, but not like this. This is cruelty to animals. We have to stop now. I never thought I'd have a heart, but man, this Activision thing broke them, dear. If they get one, I saw one Sony fan on one of his one of the podcasts like, man, if Sony give us one more bit of bad news, I'm like, my man was ready to have a fit. It was this dude named Amazing Lucas. When he found out Spider-Man was coming to PC, he had a meltdown right there live on TV. Like these guys, they can't take no more bad news, dear. So if they show Hellblade 2. Oh, hell gonna break loose. That's what I'm hoping for, Sega Man. It's Hellblade 2, because the rest of the year is on lockdown. But if they show Hellblade 2, that's just nasty. That's just Microsoft just flexing at this point. And I'm enjoying every second of this, because what from 2013 to 2018, we had to see Xbox and Microsoft slung through the mud by the media, and now to see them just demolishing and destroying, and I love every second of it. So Hellblade 2, Sega Man, if they show that, it'll just be overkill. That's what I want to see. I'm looking forward to it, because Hellblade 1, Senua's Sacrifice, was amazing. Imagine now what they can do with it just being on one platform and Unreal Engine 5.
Right.
We are in for a treat this year, guys.
Yeah, I believe so. And I'm going to capitalize on that real quick, E, before we go to Tuck and the First Lady of Chat, Miss Dia. You remember, was it last E3? Me and E-Rock talked about this for a while, and a couple of the other brothers. the amazing Matrix demo that we got.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You remember that, Dia? That was
yeah, it was beautiful.
amazing. You seen a glimpse of the future of gaming when you went into that world with that demo we had. That was fantastic.
Unreal Engine 5 is on some other stuff. Like I know everybody, Zink talks about the Slip Space engine, great engine, with the Resident Evil 3 engine.
Yeah,
They call they call it the
RAE.
engine great, but
Yeah.
this Unreal Engine 5 is on something else entirely because of something that these other engines don't have. Not even the Halo engine, not even the Gears engine, unless they're building it with unless the next Gears is being built with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 has this shit called nanite, right? Where they can make anything look real. Like a bag of potato chips looks real.
Yeah.
The lighting looks real. Like that Matrix demo. Listen, Dia, you weren't around that. It was December morning, late December. I called Hebot. I called Unlimited Production. I called Sega Man in the morning. I don't be waking cats up in the morning. I say, yo, y'all got to see this. Usually there's these generational leaps. There's these moments where you know you're on to something different. For me, 1983, hearing stereo out of a Sony Walkman. 1992, hearing compact disc for the first time.
Yeah, you're right, really.
This right here, that Unreal Engine 5 demo, that Matrix demo, to this day, I still have it on my Xbox. I will not delete it. It's one of them things you bring somebody over. I wish my boy, my good friend, my next door neighbor, my buddy for life, had been alive to see this. He wasn't a graphics guy, but even this would have blown his mind. Just so people like, look, this is where video game graphics are now. The character didn't look that great, but the people around her showed possibility. But it was about the buildings and the lighting and the geometry there and the calculations and the math going all at once. And the fact that you could zoom out far away and the stuff is still calculating and zoom in and the stuff like that Unreal Engine 5 demo is doing stuff that we've never even seen before. And it's running in real time on the Xbox Series X, Series S, and PlayStation 5. We've entered a whole new threshold. We haven't even seen what video games can be yet because they don't know what these machines can do. Sega Man, there's no need for no developer to be saying the PlayStation 5 is maxed out. The Xbox Series X is maxed out. Bullshit. You know how I know bullshit? Because the Coalition and Unreal gave us that Unreal 5 engine demo that tells us that these consoles aren't maxed out. That Matrix demo deal was the future, and I've never seen anything like it.
Nice, brother E. And and just to let you know, E, Gears is Unreal. They
wow.
They are. Yeah, they're synonymous.
Wow, that's gonna look silly then.
Yeah.
That's gonna look. Hey, Dave, how you doing, brother? So, E, you still there, Tuck?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So, brother Tuck, we got our E3 coming up. We're going to have some post shows before E3. I think Matt Booty came out and said they're going to do a show, I think, before E3 comes out. What are you expecting, Tuck? And what are you looking forward to are going to be excited for E3 and what Microsoft and Xbox is going to bring their fan base? So what's your thoughts on that, Tuck?
I'm looking for a game that nobody's even talking about right now, and that is Stalker.
Wow. Okay.
All right. You are right, Tuck. You are right.
Nobody even talking about that game. And I guarantee you that game be out. That game will probably be out in December, I bet you.
You think December?
Probably be out in December.
You think December?
Yeah, I think December, and maybe a little bit earlier. I don't know. I mean, I know Ukraine, but those people, they moved into another studio. So I'm very sure that they are still making that game.
Yeah.
And that game should be done pretty doggone soon.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to Motorsports. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that game. You know what? I think Microsoft is gonna surprise everybody at E3. I think they're gonna launch that game at E3. I'm hoping that they do. It wouldn't be no surprise if they did it or not. I mean, it would not be no surprise.
Okay.
At this point, because I think Microsoft is going to surprise a lot of people and all that stuff. they really want to keep people on their toes coming up this year around from last.
Excuse me.
And then another game, Art, the one with Van Diesel.
Yeah, Art. Yeah.
Nobody's not talking about that game either.
Yeah, people forgot about that game too. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm looking for that. Man, Microsoft got a lot of games coming out, and they're going to be dropping like flies. So, but Stalker, Forza Motorsports,
what's the other one? It's going to be running on Raw Engine 5. I think it's Fred's Groovy Grab Bag.
And Hellblade. Oh man, hey, E-Rock, you got one doggone thing right. When that game right there drops, if they show any of that game at E3, man, the Sony people is going to lose.
Yes, they are.
Mind.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
They lose it because it's something that came out. It's something that came out on their system first. Didn't make any money. Microsoft decided to pay the developer. It did good on the Xbox. So what did Microsoft do? They said, "Fuck it, we gonna buy your ass."
I love it.
And that's what they did. So hey, E-Rock, you know how you feel about Sony. Second man, I don't have to even explain to you. I know how you feel about Sony. And what's your name, young lady?
Dea.
Dea?
Yeah.
Hey, you new to the group, but I also know how you feel about Sony too. So let me say this last thing. I'd be so glad. and I do not want Sony to take the deal at all. But you know what? They are.
They're not.
Don't
No, they're not.
They are. They're not that dumb.
They're not going to take it, Tuck.
Watch.
Tuck, listen to me. They're not taking the deal. They're not going to take it, Tuck.
Okay, so let me ask you this: where the fan base going to come? They're going to come straight to the. They're going to have to come straight to the Xbox.
That's what they're going to have to do because they're not going to take it. They're not going to. They're not going to do that for their fan base. They're all about them. They're not about their people. Their fan base. They're not. They're about them. That's
it. And plus, after what Ted said, that after they fan base heard about what really Jim Ryan said, it can be done. It can be done for them. So,
and it's a shame, but it's true, Tuck. It's true, Tuck. It's a shame, but it's true. They're not going to do it, man. They're not going to do it, and it's a damn shame. And they're going to have to. If you want to play Call of Duty, you're going to have to get a PC, or you're going to have to get a phone, or you're going to have to get a laptop or an Xbox. They're not going to do it, man.
Well, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. And it's sad, but we must go on. Last but not least, Dea. Man, it's so good to have Dea 4568 with us now, man. Part of our podcast, man. The first lady of chat. She's very knowledgeable, man. She speaks so well when she talks about gaming. Had good points, always on point about it, man. So, Dea, we got our E3 coming up, and Matt Booty and him said they're going to do a post show before that and talk about, I guess, things that are going to be coming. The stuff at E3 that's coming for us for Xbox. So, Dea, what are you wanting to see, Dea, or what are you predicting that you think we'll get some surprises? What do you think is going to happen when E3 comes around, or is there something that you're looking forward to when our show comes? What do you think, Dea?
Well, I'm the type of gamer that's pretty patient. Like I'm not even fazed by Starfield coming out in September. It doesn't affect me because I'm always playing games. I don't have enough time to play all these games. So for me, it's buying me some time.
The feeling.
Okay. So so I'm not going to be pushing like, oh, I got to, see this game or something. What I want, number one, E-Rock already said it, Hellblade. I feel like I'm going to be transported into what a true next gen or current game feels like. That in Forza, I think we absolutely get that feel. So I'm really looking forward to, if they're going to drop Hellblade this year, I would hope. I mean, it would be like the mic drop of 2023. That's what I want. I want that mic drop if I can get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm patient, but I would love that. That would cap off this year in such a way that it would never be forgotten. This year would never be forgotten. So I want that. I want Hellblade for that reason. And two, I want to see it. I want to experience what have Ninja Theory been doing. You know, so I'm just even every little bit they come out with, I'm excited about it. So I really cannot wait to see what they got. And I now, you know, before when I first was watching what they were doing, I didn't even have an Xbox. So I think I'm going to experience that on my Xbox. I want to.
Yeah.
I want everything. I want all the bells and whistles. I just want everything. I'm looking forward to Hellblade 2 for a lot of different reasons. The second game is, for my own selfishness, is Fable. I would love to see anything on Fable.
Yes.
I'm so looking
I
forward
can't
to
believe I
Fable.
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Fable for me, anytime I get anything, I don't care what it is. I'm just always, I perk up on my seat. So I really would love to see anything. I don't care if the devs would just come out and talk about it a little bit. I would take anything. I want to see something on Fable. And then, and this is something that most people probably won't mention, but if Pactor is right and everything is going to wrap up with the ABK deal around April, this is what I think I've heard some people rumbling. I want to know, are the COD games all going to come to Game Pass? I want to know what the roadmap for ABK is. Are they going to have a sit down and tell the Xbox gamers what to expect? That's what I'm looking forward to. I really want to know, because I want prototype. Microsoft, if you are watching this, bring out another prototype game. I want prototype. I really want that. So
that's a great game.
Yes, I want another prototype. Oh, they can remake it and start a bunch of, you know, new franchises in it. I don't care. I want prototype. So
yeah, it's a good game.
I would be extremely excited if they do that. If they have a sit down, the ABK deal is done, and they're talking about the titles they want to bring to the forefront. That would
you mean the first Infamous before Infamous?
Oh, hi, Hebot. Hi.
Hey, how are you guys? Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want. So let Hebot go.
No, you said prototype. I like the second one a lot better too, because it was more action packed in my opinion.
Right.
But plus it was, you know, it was doing a couple of cool different things. But I'm saying the first Infamous before Infamous.
Oh yeah.
So Hebot, man, I know you're doing things and you're busy, and I know you said when you get time you would come back. But I just want to know real quick, Hebot, we got our E3 coming up, man. I think Matt Booty, I think he released something on Twitter where I think they're going to do a post show before E3. They're going to do a show, I guess. And what are you looking forward to, Hebot, before E3? Like, is there games you want to see come out? Are you expecting some surprises, Hebot, or what do you think, man? With our E3 coming up, you think it's going to be a really good show? And is there anything you're looking forward to be shown at E3, man? What's your thoughts?
I mean, E3, we've said this ad nauseum, right? That E3 is very important, even though people try to downplay it, because it's basically like the Super Bowl for gaming, right? And that's how we celebrate all the new things coming out. The indie developers get to showcase their games beforehand, because they don't really have another platform unless they just release it into a store blindly without having really any advertisement or any following. E3 is always exciting, no matter how much people try to downplay it, because it's where you see things that you didn't know about. There's always surprises. There's always game announcements that you didn't expect or knew about. And I'm pretty sure this year we're going to see some good things. I'm pretty sure we'll see Hellblade maybe get a release date for it, because Hellblade's been in development for almost 6 years. It's been in development for a while.
Yeah.
So the only reason people are like, oh, but why is Ninja Theory taking so long, is because they changed the engine from Unreal Engine 4 to 5, because they wanted to utilize Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And that's a process that takes time. So they built it in Unreal Engine 4, and then they're transferring it into Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're seeing those type of really elaborate visuals that you saw. So I'm pretty sure we'll see Hellblade 2. I'm pretty sure we'll see what other developers that are now under the umbrella of Microsoft that are what they're working on, right?
Mhm.
And probably coming out maybe this year something else other than Starfield, other than Forza. I'm pretty sure, and probably early for next year. Like I said, because Microsoft has so many games in development, and so many things coming out to Game Pass with third party and with indie developers that they now have a roadmap where they can have things coming out every month, every 2 months, sometimes even every week. And it's mind-boggling because people keep saying, "Oh, they don't have no games," and the reference when they say that they're trying to say they don't have exclusives, first-party exclusives,
Yeah.
right? But then they act like third-party exclusives for Xbox are worthless when they're for Sony. That's when they count, But when they're on Xbox, oh, that's just a third party. Yeah, it's the same idea with Sony. When they have third party only and they don't have an exclusive first party, it's the same logic. But they try to somehow make it seem like it's not important when it's on Xbox, but when it's on Sony, it has relevancy, which is the most asinine thing anyone can think or say, right?
Yeah.
So, like they're trying to say, oh, Microsoft's not on Xbox because they're doing the keynote in the Microsoft, I think stadium or hall, which they own, which is like across the street from the actual E3 building. But they've been doing that, right? But they've been doing that for years, right?
Mhm.
Because they own it. So why be in the E3 building if you can do it in your own building? But the point is that they're always usually there physically. I don't know if they're going to have any presentation inside the E3 hall itself.
Uh-huh.
And even if they don't, I mean, it's not like they don't care because they're still going to be there. They're still going to have the Starfield showcase. I'm pretty sure the Starfield showcase with Bethesda is going to be, because they always treat Bethesda, even though they own them, like a secondary branch, right? Or a secondary department of Xbox, right?
Mhm.
But they do that out of respect to Bethesda because they know how big Bethesda is.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So to say, oh, they're not going to be there is just being ignorant or just hopeful thinking because Sony's never there. Right.
Mhm.
Sony hasn't been there since 2018, right? E-Rock, I think it is.
Yep.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, they go. And then they'll be like, oh, they don't go there because they don't need E3. No, they don't go there because they don't have the money to pay to be in the E3 hall because it's expensive.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they can't always go there and pay. Shit, I remember that year when they were like, oh, don't worry, we're going to be at another 100 other venues. And they only did but one show that year. And they were like, yeah, we're going to be at 100 other venues. Like, come on, please. We all know you're never there. Stop.
Hey, Hebot, that's amazing how Sony don't need to be at E3, the biggest show of the year, our Super Bowl of gaming, but yet Microsoft has to be at, they have to show something at Jeff Keighley's PlayStation Award.
Get out of here.
Come on, man.
There you go. Always starting. E-Rock, stop it. No, it's true. It's true. Like, look, Jeff Keighley's award, it's appreciated it should be appreciated for the sense or the fact that he's doing stuff also during the end of the year so we can have something to look forward to. But again,
Who look forward to that?
I'm saying because he gets E-Rock. What I mean by that is because he ends up getting like a lot of exclusive things from third party also. And it's nice to see it. But at the same time, because the committee that he has is so Sony and Nintendo centric, we all know that it's usually it becomes the bias awards because they're very Sony centric, Sony bias, or even Nintendo. So you'll see the praising for everything Nintendo, the accolades for everything Sony, but they'll try to act like whatever Microsoft. We know, like the year that Gears of War 4. Go ahead, Dia.
I just want to add this to it. This is how I feel. I respect everything you're saying, but to me, there's no reason for an Xbox gamer to watch the wars. It's nothing. You're never going to get the wars from Keighley. Yes, Microsoft might show some things, but you can watch it after the fact. There's nothing.
Yeah, of course.
And Keighley doesn't go out of his way to make us feel welcome there. So I never bother.
Absolutely. But that's why I love the fact, Dia, right? That now that you say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was loving the fact that Phil with Microsoft basically weaponized the Game Awards by making announcements there, right? Like when they showcase the console, when they show Hellblade for the first time, because it basically, even though the awards were all concentrating on everybody else, right? The whole talk of the town was just Xbox.
Yeah.
So it worked against their favor, and that's why you saw Jeff Keighley's face, like, you motherfuckers. You know what I'm trying to say? He has no choice. He can't do nothing about it because they're the only ones willing to give him the venue by making money off of him by putting the venue on the Microsoft Center, even though he tries to act like Microsoft's not important in their own venue or in their own hall, right?
Hey, do y'all remember the one show where Geoff Keighley turned into a puddle of goo just because Kojima was there? He was like, I'm like, yo, when did he start showing gay porn on cable TV? I'm turning this shit. I don't watch this.
He did that this year when they announced Death Stranding 2 was in development.
Oh my God!
He did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
He did the same exact thing. Then they had my poor boy Al Pacino with his old ass, and you can tell he's turning senile, reading off the teleprompter. He couldn't even read the words because he didn't know what he was saying, and even he's not familiar with gaming because he's not a gamer. Obviously, he's there for, basically for the awe factor. Like, ooh, we got Al Pacino on stage. You know what I mean?
Hey, folks, it's great to be here at the Source Awards. Like, nigga, this ain't you in the wrong venue, bro.
That's like having him in the Source Awards where he knows nothing about, let's say, rap or R&B or anything that's, with the black people culture, right, or black culture in general, trying to act like he knows about it. It just feels out of place, right? It doesn't make sense. But that's what Jeff Keighley does it. He does it because it's the awe factor. Oh, look, I got Al Pacino on my stage.
Yeah.
And again, it would be something nice, Dia and E-Rock and Sega Man, if he actually respected everyone. But he tries to pull that bullshit card like, oh no, and tries to play it off like, oh no, I'm not doing that, but we all know he is. And then when he got called out on it, he had no choice but to try to fix some of the stuff. And that's why last year, It Takes Two, right? Won Game of the Year. Because people called them out on Twitter for it. They called them out. They're like, why are you not nominating this game, like Halo, I think it was, because it came out right before the due date, but the following year he adjusted the due date so that they could add God of War. You see what I'm saying?
It moves constantly. That's the thing. You can't rely on anything that he does in that show. So it's fun. But I want to say that you're right, and Polybaba is right, that Microsoft does need to have a presence. What they need to do is use it to their advantage, I guess.
Just weaponize it. Weaponize it. Okay, motherfucker, you want to be funny? Watch what we're going to do. Bam! We're going to fuck you up, and you can't do nothing about it. You know why? Because, again, it's their venue. It's their hall. It's the Microsoft Center. He cannot do anything if Microsoft decides we're going to do this here or we're going to do that here. He has no choice. That's what I like when they do that.
Right.
And this year, they didn't really do it, but it was because, again, they were going to do that showcase in January. They already knew it was already planned, and they were going to do the shadow drop. And what ended up happening? It had more reception when they did their own showcase in late January than the actual awards itself in December.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I thought was also good. I thought it was a good tactic. It was great. You know what I mean? Because all that shit talking that Other Zinc always talks about, they didn't advertise High on Life. And High on Life was talked about more, even though it wasn't at the awards.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, they need to market. They are marketing, but their way of marketing is strategic. They do it using the internet and social media. They don't do it by plastering it on billboards in New York City only, or fucking putting commercials in the movie theaters. They don't do it that way. Okay. They do it the way that that benefits them. That's their strong suit, which is the internet or on social media. That's how they've always done it for a long time now. And that's marketing. People don't understand that that's still marketing, regardless whether it's on social only, it's still marketing. And that they don't seem to understand that, right? Advertising Game Pass on the Game Awards, showing the new games coming out, that's marketing. Right. It's all marketing.
Yeah.
But they try to downplay, although they don't market like so. Look, Sony does what they do in the theaters because they're part of the movie industry. They can ask for favors and be like, "Oh yeah, could you guys put this in your theaters before you play Top Gun Maverick, please?" Or it's stuff like that because they're part of the movie industry. Microsoft is not. That's why I was upset when Microsoft listened to the selective few that were just hating when they were trying to do movie division to make those TV shows that were going to connect Forza, that were going to connect Rise, Son of Rome, where they were going to do something for Dead Rising. I remember they announced, and it was going to be fucking great because it was going to intertwine two of the biggest and most important mediums in the world that make the most money as one, because gaming has become very cinematic, right? So it makes sense. But they're like, oh no, they're just concentrating on movie. No, the fuck they're not. Stop it. They were showcasing the console, showing you what their future was going to be, what they were envisioning, and how they wanted to connect the mediums, because both mediums are now part of each other, because you have actors like the gentleman who played Locke in Halo doing voiceover. You have actors in Halo 1 doing voiceovers that were big actors back then, and people don't seem to understand that Microsoft was one of the first people in the forefront to do this. So now they'll try to say like, oh, see, Sony got these big actors. Like they used the dude that was in Quantum Break. They used him in Horizon Zero Sleep, right? Because he's one of the characters when he was in Quantum Break first, but when he was in Quantum Break, they're like, oh, Quantum Break has too much movie cutscenes. I don't like that. But when it's on a Sony game, oh, it's fantastic. Like, it's just so, again, it becomes so nauseating having to repeat yourself to dummies, because they know what it is. They want to act like, oh no, like Microsoft isn't the one that moves things forward. It's almost like the stupidity that I hear now on Twitter. I was just arguing with people not too long ago on Twitter because they're like, oh, you see how these games, they're being fucking analyzed and they're always better on Xbox. I said, yes, because they're all marketing deals with Sony. And if it's a marketing deal with Sony, they already came out and said, the developers, Jim Ryan himself, that they want parity. They even said it with Call of Duty, that they don't want it to be better on Xbox, that they're afraid, and then they're trying to use the fucking the sympathy card, like, see, if Microsoft owns Call of Duty, they're gonna make ours buggier and less proficient, and then our version's gonna be, their version's gonna be better, and they're gonna make ours look worse. Like, cut this shit out. You know that's been your MO for years. And now, because you have no choice, what happened?
1080p.
Yeah, 1080p. But now, because you don't have the advantage and you don't have the say so, now you want to try to manipulate the CMA to say, this is what they're going to do, so that you can make yourself look like the victims. Fuck you. Suck a big fat ball sack. And forgive me, dear, for being so vulgar. But, you know, out of respect to you being a lady of respect, right? Because, I want to acknowledge that. Sony they're so just ass ball lickers, and they've done this for years, and now they want to play the victim card because now they're screwed, they're fucked. Because once this deal goes through, it's lights out. It's game over. There's no more denying that Microsoft cannot be dethroned. They just can't. They just cannot. No matter what you say, there's no way to argue that, and that's what they're afraid of. Just like they're afraid of, oh, but they'll put it on Game Pass. It's not fair. But why you guys don't put it on your service? We don't want it there. They offered it. They told them put it on PSN.
They did, because
but they don't want to.
Money. So
but you know why they don't want to, Dia? For two things, like you just said. Number one, because Microsoft's going to make money off of them and off their consumers. And two, they want to make the money off of the $70 sale, because their service is only like 2 million people, as opposed to Game Pass is almost at 35 million, or is at 35 million to this point, with Xbox Live at almost 70 million, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why Microsoft makes money, because you got 70 million people versus 2 million on their service. Of course they don't want it there, right? And that's the biggest problem issue that people try to ignore. Oh, it's not sustainable. Of course it is. You telling me if you got 35 million people paying $15 a month, it's not sustainable? Do the numbers. Multiply that. 35 million by $15 a month, which is about 180 a year per person, per subscriber. Are you kidding me? We're talking about almost
$15 billion or some shit. Like it's like the crazy number.
When they
right?
came out with their financials, it said that they made Game Pass made $3.9 billion.
2.6 million in the first 3 quarters. Yep.
That shut up the billion. That shut all that shit up. That shut all
100%. 100%. You're right.
That was the end of that not sustainable stuff.
You're right.
Now it's like this is all just so hilarious to watch. It's just
Oh yeah.
And if you're a Hebot who's been following us for like 25 years, you've waited a long time to see Sony trip up and finally be exposed as the frauds that they've always been. It is, you guys just hate Sony. Well, they made themselves easy to hate. They came in here like a bull in a china shop. They bullied developers. They bullied Sega. They thought they were going to bully Microsoft, but they found out during the Xbox 360.
They tried to bully Nintendo, E-Rock.
They did.
Look, people, and let's say this quick story once again to put it into perspective, because people always try to act like this is not the case. Sony was going to make Nintendo's CD-based console when Microsoft, when Sega announced that they were bringing the Sega Saturn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was CD-based, which we all knew Sega had the upper hand because they did the Sega CD during the Genesis era.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why they did it, because they were trying to get into CD because it was more efficient and more inexpensive than cartridges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the cartridges the labor alone was too high. We all know it because if you remember the Nintendo 64 when it came out, fucking Mortal Kombat, what was it, 4? Was like $100 for the cartridge, right? And that's what Sega was trying to eliminate, not to force their consumers to have to pay $100 at that time for a game. So they were like, we want to go CD-based. So Sony was the only one that was doing compact discs at the time, making deals with people. And they were the ones that did a deal with Nintendo. Nintendo, I don't know if it was Kazurai or who the hell it was. I forgot the guy's name. He did the deal behind Sony's back. He used to be in the department of Sony, but he was doing the deal with Nintendo behind their back. He told them the type of hardware they were going to make. Nintendo fully funded it, right? Then after Nintendo fully funded it, right? They were like, okay, so we want to make a new deal. We want you to pay a percentage from every disc you sell on compact discs, and we want you to give us a percentage for every console you sell because we created the hardware, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially, Nintendo was going to make less money than Sony themselves after they pocketed the entire thing, right? So Sony was like, Nintendo was like, what? You're fucking stupid? Are you crazy? No, we're not doing that. What did Sony do? They went behind their back. They approached Philips CD, right? Philips decided, okay, we'll do a deal with you, but we're making our own console, which at the time was Philips CDI.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you saw a game of Zelda and Mario in that unit, because that was part of the deal, right?
Horrible games, but it was part of the deal.
And they were horrible, right, because that entertainment system was more like a movie based instead of instead of gaming based. It was more, especially the controllers, they were awkward and all that stuff. Anyway, we all know. Plus,
and instead of Sony going away and saying, "Oh fuck it," Ken Kutaragi, the father of PlayStation, who made soundboards for Sony, by the way, said, "No, we're not going to stop. We're going to stab him in the back and make this box anyway."
Well, what they did, E-Rock, because Nintendo didn't patent the hardware. They didn't patent. They also didn't patent the name. Because that's why there's even a console that was a prototype that exists, that is out there. You can see it. People even did videos on it. That was called the Nintendo PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And people don't even realize that they didn't even patent. Sony didn't even have the originality to create a name for their own console. Okay. Instead, what they did was he went to them, right? And at first he had gotten in trouble and they had put him in the music division. So then they were like, okay, let's do this. So since they didn't take the cost for the R&D, they were able to bring out the console for $299, right? Instead of the $400 that Sega was going to do because they couldn't afford to bring it down lower. And that's when you remember that infamous quote when they were on E3, $299. You remember that bullshit, right?
E3 1995, $299.
And the guy who made that, and E-Rock, the guy who made that announcement had just left Sega like 8 months before or a year before and went to Sony. And he kind of did it to give Sega the middle finger, and he was telling them what they were doing with the Sega Saturn, right? And we all know that Sega, because they had that really bad loss in income with the Saturn, not the Saturn, the 32X and the Sega CD, because they didn't do well. They lost so much money that it hurt them. And then they couldn't do nothing with the Sega Saturn. So they're like, all right, let's release it on the day of E3, which was May 25th. But because they didn't give the stores, right, the distributors and the stores enough time to make space for it, they didn't want it in 50, 60, 70% of the stores. So nobody wanted to pick it up, not KB Toys, not Toys R Us. So they only sold it in selected places like The Wiz at the time, right? And that's what hurt them ultimately, because they couldn't get it out there. The companies didn't want to put, the like Child World, Toys R Us, they didn't want to put it in their shelves. But when Sony came out in that September, they were able to put it out, and it was $100 cheaper. And that's the type of thing that they did. They have never created anything. It's always piggybacking off of everybody. And they try to backstab Nintendo as well. But Nintendo said, fuck you, right? So, it's great. And that's why you see E-Rock and myself, right? Or persons like 100 or Sega Forever, that we've been here since all this shit started. That's why you see us be so damn hateful and hard on Sony, because we know those motherfuckers don't give a fuck. They only cared about their own well-being. They don't care about gamers. They don't care about the industry itself. They don't care about nothing unless it makes them any type of profit, or like it makes them look good, right?
Yep.
Unlike Microsoft, that has always done things for the industry itself, for the gamers. That's why they created cloud, where they want everybody to take their whole library on the go, whether you could play it on your tablet, on your phone, on your PC, on your laptop, or on your console, because they want to expand it wherever they can, and especially in countries that it's too expensive, like China. When the Xbox One came out, the PS4, it was like $700, $800 for the console, which is too expensive. And then shipping it over there with all the import charges. So they're trying to beat the system by saying, okay, that if you play it through a service, you don't have to worry about the game in the console, and you can still play our games on our ecosystem. And that was the whole idea behind it. That's how the whole idea of cloud came to be and started, right?
Hey, look, Hebot, not to cut you off, man, because I know this podcast went on too long, but I got caught up in the hype. Yes, I did. I had a PlayStation 1 and loved it for the 2.5 years that I had it.
Right.
I still have my copy of Soul Blade by Namco, one of the greatest PlayStation games ever. And I was caught up in all the hype and yes, Namco, and all the nostalgia. But listen, as Hebot has pointed out, there's nothing innovative, E-Rock. As much as you were in love with PlayStation 1, there's nothing in PlayStation 2 for a hot second because it was forced on you. There's nothing innovative by locking down third parties. There's nothing innovative by keeping Grand Theft Auto off of Xbox. There's nothing innovative about locking down Namco to make your games. There's no, great points. There's nothing that all you put out was Parappa the Rapper. There's nothing innovative about anything you've done.
Peter Moore did an interview just recently with these Sega guys that do a podcast. And he said that when the Dreamcast was doing so well, that Sony they were fear-mongering developers to tell them, like, oh, the Dreamcast is not going to do well. It's not powerful enough. It's not doing this. It can't do that. And he said it in some of the podcasts. He said that's why the developers started dropping the Dreamcast. And then you saw with your own eyes, right, that the PlayStation 2, even 2 and 3 years in, still didn't have games as impressive as games that they were on the actual Dreamcast. You see what I'm saying? Which is crazy. It's crazy. But that's how advanced the Dreamcast was for the time.
That's Dia's favorite console.
Huh?
That's Dia's favorite console.
Yeah, I heard. Yes. Yeah,
so
don't
don't just come in here saying you guys hate PlayStation. We all own
Right.
PlayStations. We
Yeah.
all had it. We were all in love with PlayStation once. But you're in a relationship, dear, and eventually you move on, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know E-Rock, because a lot of these guys that say that shit now, they grew up PlayStation, right? They weren't there from the era of the transition from 16-bit to 32-bit. They weren't there.
8-bit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah. But I'm saying 632 because that's
Yeah.
when Sony came in the scene.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I say that. So they have no clue, because Sony used to publish games. Like they published Jaguar, the game Jaguar for the Sega CD. They published Peter Pan's Hook for Disney when it came out, the one with Robin Williams, if you remember the movie.
Mhm.
They
Yeah, of course
published
I do.
games. They were publishers, but they were not game developing studios that actually had first party studios doing games for them. That's why they said when they did the PS2, they bought over 250 developers they paid to get on their console. 250 at that time. They bought out so that they wouldn't be doing games on the Sega Saturn. And that's the type of shit that they pulled back then and since then. That's why now, me and E-Rock, for example, we don't feel sorry for them. Right? Because there's no reason to. They're
Yes,
getting...
everything, like Dea said earlier, the chickens have come home to roost. I've been hearing for years from these younger PlayStation fans that, and even guys like John Lindemann, Xbox is the outsider. The outsider, Microsoft is making games since 1983 for PC. And here's the thing, to old timers like me, fucking Sony's the fucking outsider. We come from Sega and Nintendo and Atari and the Master System and some people the Odyssey and some old timers like Sega Man probably had Pong or some shit like that. So to us, 1995 is recent history, children.
E-Rock, we used to play on those E-Rock, me and you used to play on those consoles that would come with the pre-built games in it, and it was a unit that would come with everything attached to it with wires, and you just put it on your TV like a plug and play them. And it would have games like Pong in it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sega Man probably has the Vectrex.
Yes, the Vectrex, right.
Come on, man.
I wish.
And Microsoft is the outsider. The outsider, you guys are the outsiders. You've really been around 25 years. Listen, me and Hebot and Sega Man are old. 25 years was we're like the elves of Lord of the Rings. 25 years is the blink of an eye to us.
Yeah.
Sony
it's funny how they'll be It's funny how they'll say things like and I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry about that.
No.
It's funny like when they say things like, "Oh, Final Fantasy and Metal Gear is Sony's." I was like, dude. They stole Final Fantasy from Nintendo. That's number one. And to give you even more slap in the face, because I know you don't like it when I mention it, so I'm gonna mention it again. The first Metal Gear Solid, okay, the very first one that was on the NES, right?
Yeah.
It originally debuted on the MSX, that was the Microsoft computer console that was created by them on their platform. They gave Kojima the opportunity to bring his game to their platform and console before Nintendo, before it came out to the NES.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's why I tell them that shit is funny. Kojima was attached to Microsoft even before they were with Sony or Nintendo itself. And they don't even know that. And you just look it up, go Google it, and you'll see it. That Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid debuted on Microsoft's MSX. It says it right there.
PlayStation swayed everybody from 1995 to 2003 because they had Sony backing them. Sony is no longer a thing. They are a diminished brand. They do not have the power, even in the stock market over in Japan, that they had 25 years ago. We are in uncharted territory. We are in the territory you prayed for forever. The demise of this company, bruh, it is finally happening. Can you believe this shit? I think we lost Hebot.
Hebot, you there?
All right, quick,
what's up?
End the podcast. Oh, damn, he's back.
No, I'm back. I'm just talking to my friend. Hold on. Yeah, what happened? What did you ask? I'm sorry.
I was saying, can you believe this shit? You're finally seeing the demise of Sony. This is what
Oh
we
yeah,
waited
yeah.
for.
I would have
for
never
25
thought in a million years to see it in my lifetime. Anyway,
It's
that's why
finally
we're having fun. That's why we're having fun because all of the truth is coming out. It's being exposed, and it was about time. I mean, I've been saying this for years, Dia, and all I got was trampled, made fun of, memed,
Granny
all this
Bot.
kind of yeah, you crazy, you're fucking stupid. And now everything that I said came to fruition before everybody else even mentioned it.
Yep.
All these other podcasters, now they're getting credit for it like they did it first when it was always me.
Right.
And I got all the hate for it. But you know what I do? I laugh because I've never been a follower. I've always been a leader. I'm not stupid. I'm a person that likes to educate myself. I go to the source. I don't go to fictitious rumors. I don't go to wannabe people that think they have insiders when they don't. I go to the source. If it didn't come out the horse's mouth, don't believe it. It's that simple. It's that simple. You know? But now I'm being vindicated. So is E-Rock. So is Sega Man. So is Sega Forever. So is, our brother 100. And I mentioned them because they've been here since before me on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's why. But we've all said it, right? But maybe not as in depth as I have. But these guys have always given me my praises. They've never said, fuck Hebot. He don't know what he's talking about. They've always said, yo, Hebot's been saying this since day one. Everybody from Sega Man to E-Rock, they've all said that Hebot has said this and y'all didn't believe him and it's the truth. And now I'm being vindicated. That's why you know what? I had the last laugh like the Joker. So I'm not sweating it. I know what I was saying from the very beginning because I don't speak from a place of hate. I speak from a place of knowledge. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. Yeah. Excuse me 1 second, guys.
Well, hey, when Hebot comes back, we're gonna do our sign outs. I know y'all gotta get going.
Yeah, because I know you and Sega Forever, y'all having a battle to see who has the longest podcast.
No, man. I'm not like Sega Forever, brother. I can't be Sega Forever, man. Remember, I had to bail out. I was tired of the mud.
Yo, yeah, Sega Forever, man. His joint be.
My brother Sega Forever, man. He be having those Jerry Lewis Jerry Lewis podcast, man. I can't.
Yeah, man. Remember the Jerry Lewis telethon? That would come on.
Yeah, that's classic.
He would come on at 4:00 on Tuesday, and this shit ends like 5:00 Friday morning. Like, damn.
Yeah, your life was gone in that period if you can remember it.
Guys, we just need $5 more and we can save Jimmy's leg. Like, God damn.
It, man. Sega Forever is my brother from another mother, but I can't do it, man.
Yeah, yo, man.
I try to hang in there. Look at him laughing with the emojis. I try to hang in there, man. I can't.
Woo.
I can't. I tried. You and Unlimited hung in. I said, man, I gotta go. I don't want them to hear me snoring on the thing, man. I don't want to fall asleep.
And I want to scream. I want to say, Sega Man, get back in here. You can't believe it, man. like Tuck. He bailed out. He must have had to go to work, right?
Well, he works the night shift, so he has to he works 11 to 7. So he.
Okay.
He actually has I tell you what, he has a good laid back job and he makes real good money. He works for the VA. He has a laid back job. He's work at night. There's nobody there and he gets to do, just, do his work and nobody to bother him. He said he really likes it. So that's what's up. I mean,
except for his coworkers.
Well, I think a couple coworkers that he still works with, but I'm like, hey man, shit, man. I mean, you said you like your new position and you like the night shift. That's cool. You get to sleep mostly half of the day, and then you go to work at night. I used to do it when I was a security guard. I used to do that.
Well, Sega Man, until he come back, man, let's just do shout outs, man. If he come back, he come back.
Let's do the shout outs, and then we're gonna do the outros. So I'm gonna start at the top, man. Okay, I'm gonna start at the top, man, with the chat, man. First up here was let me see who we got. Let me see.
Let me help you, man. So we can get on about it here. Dia probably gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. We gotta give Polly Baba a shout out for being in the chat and having one of the craziest names I've ever seen. Our boy Xbox
intelligent though. He had some good posts.
Oh hell yeah.
Good. E, you read them. Good.
Rain G4, man, he's always representing the chat. David Cohen, of course, the realest one who's always supporting the crew. Mr. Kima always supporting the crew. Toolman 55, Dr. Vodka, always supporting the crew. Deploy 619, man.
Yep.
A veteran of the Micropod podcast, man. Good brother. Lewis Frag was in here tonight.
Yes.
Let me see who else, man. I mean, just
Rain
you got.
D4.
Yeah. I read him. Yeah, the chat was fire.
NC.
Yeah, man, that's right. Unlimited Productions said Daylight Savings is messing with me. Yeah, man, I know it's crazy, man. So
Yeah.
the Xbox All In, the Xbox All In podcast is going to be especially difficult now that Daylight Saving times it hit. So let me see who else was in the chat. Graphic God, man. Shout out to all of these dudes for coming in here and Smitty Smith.
Smitty was here. Yeah, David Cohen. Who
David
else?
Cohen.
And did you say him?
Yep.
Doc Avok.
Yeah. I shouted all of them guys out, man.
Okay. Oh, one more. Slick Slayer.
Slayer. That's right.
Yeah, he did pop in. Yeah.
Okay, Slick Slayer was here. So on that note, guys, I want to thank y'all for coming to another. The new name is the Outlaws of Xbox.
Oh, okay.
We are the Outlaws of Xbox, man. This is the Outlaws of Xbox podcast. I hope you guys like the name, man. And we thank you for coming again. And always remember, check out the Unlimited Truth with our brother Unlimited Productions on Wednesday or Thursday nights. Check out the Exile podcast. We'll all start with me and E-Rock, the Don King of Xbox, E-Rock X, on Sundays at around like 6:30, right?
Yeah, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every other Sunday. We do it twice a month so that my brothers can do their thing, man.
Right.
Oh, and I believe me and E-Rock are going to talk about this behind the scenes. We're probably going to have an E3 show.
Oh, of course we are.
We're going to have an E3 show, and your boy Sega Man, to bring back old times, is going to give away a couple gift cards.
Oh, man.
The E3 show, and give away a couple, probably couple $10 gift cards, and we'll have E-Rock and everybody choose a brother out there or a gaming sister out there, and we're going to give away probably about at least maybe 2 or 3 gift cards when we're during the show, or we might make it after the show. Me and E-Rock are going to talk more about that later, but we hope you guys can join us for our special E3 for Xbox, man. We're going to have a great show with all the brothers on there, with the First Lady of Chat, Dia, 4568, man. And we thank you guys for coming, but we're going to get on out of here. So on that note, E-Rock, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Hey, you guys can catch me on the E-Rock X channel. Everybody enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Tuck had to go do whatever he had to do. And we'll see you guys next time. It's always great to come in here and help out my man, Sega Man 101.
Yes. And then just Hebot, are you there at all?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here. What's up, brother? You already giving your outros?
Yes, brother. Can you please give your outros, man, and tell people where they can find you?
Yes, they can find me here with all my brethren that are a bunch of podcast whores. That's why I can never do it. But anyway, they got my back because when I'm not able to do it, I can come in and out, like doing drive-bys like I always do, annoying the hell out of everybody in the chat probably. But it's fun, it's just I'm busy. I have a lot of time that I got to dedicate to the family, plus some priorities that I'm taking care of with my family now. But, it's never because I'm trying to, ignore or try to not prioritize my brothers, But yeah, you can find me here. You can find me on the Exile, obviously, on Unlimited Truth, Xbox Hot No Games with our brother 100, and the Wrecking Crew when it's not at 4 o'clock in the morning. My brother take forever. Oh my God, I feel so bad. He sent me links almost every week, and it's so late. I'm like, oh fuck, I can't make it. But he knows what's up because we have a 6-hour time difference in Hawaii from here in Hawaii. So it is what it is. But I'll be there soon. I'll be there. He knows I love my brother Sega forever, and I love helping him out because he's always had my back, and he's a wonderful person to be around also. So
big shouts out to Sega forever.
Yeah, big shouts out to him. Big shouts out to the chat like always, because these guys have become part of the show as well because they're just as informative, as fun, as toxic, but in a good way, not in a bad way, as we are, because they want to bring out the truth. They're tired of being pushed around with all the dumb rhetoric and not getting that respect that Xbox love or that they deserve for supporting Xbox and being Xbox gamers, right?
Right.
So yeah, big shout outs to all you guys and to my panel and to Dia once again. Like I said, now Dia, me and you, we gotta make some time. We gotta talk. I did not know that you were a He-Man fan,
Yes,
She-Ra
I'm
fan.
a
Now
He-Man fan.
Oh, yeah.
I have nobody out here in these streets that are He-Man fans.
I
I
love
need some
He-Man.
help. And not only that, you're a young lady. I never met any girls like that liked He-Man or She-Ra. Plus, you are an African American lady, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, I am.
So that's even a more big rarity because most of the black kids I knew growing up, right, they like Transformers and G.I. Joe, but they didn't like He-Man.
Yeah.
So my partner in crime. I have no partner in crime. So I want to make Dia my partner in crime in the He-Man venue, please.
Yeah, I was an odd girl. I was very
No, not at all. That's fucking fantastic. When I heard that, you suited me up. I was like, yes. I was so happy. I was like, finally. No, that's fantastic. Don't ever say you. That's great. That means you. That means you led your own path. You were not one of those girls that just followed Barbie because every other girl played with Barbie. You get what I'm saying? That's why. So much respects to you in that. For real. For real.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
And last but not least, the first lady of chat, Dia 4568. Dia, thanks for coming and being part of our podcasts. We're really humbled that you're a part of our podcast now. We always were kind of looking, like me and E-Rock, we were kind of looking to get a female gamer. And in the beginning of the Exile podcast with all the brothers, we tried to get a couple girls to come on. We had one girl that came on, but she went on to go on to another podcast and everything. And that's all good, but it's really good. It's really good to have you. And it's great that you're part of our family now. And we really appreciate it. So Dia, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, you can find me in the chats. Sometimes I'm vocal and sometimes I'm not. Because if I'm busy, I may be able to listen, but I may not be able to type.
Right.
Okay. So, but I'm always listening to all the podcasts. I will hop in and out of podcasts. There's no set schedule for me. I'm quite busy in my real life. So you'll find me in our circle of podcasts. I'm going to get on HeBots probably soon, maybe do some pop.
Oh yeah. Oh no. You ain't gonna. You're gonna be my partner in crime when it comes to He-Man. I'm sorry.
And also
you're not a that one.
Yeah. I'm just glad that and Ray. I also like Thundercats too, by the way. So
you got to see the unboxing I did for the Thunder Tank. I just put it up on my channel.
I got to see that one. Yeah, I got to see that one. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Yeah. So you guys can find me lurking around in the chat and stuff, and I'm always looking at what you guys do because I can honestly say this, that the Xbox guys and gals that show up in our chat is some of the smartest people I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
on the topics of gaming and history.
Definitely,
it's really enlightening, and I learn a lot that way. So don't
plus
ever
they're
think
fun, Dia. They're fun. They're fun, and they're also very respectful. You know how when you talk to a lot of PlayStation guys, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. You talk to them, and it turns into a personal argument or some type of personal attack. But when you talk to these guys that are Xbox fans, not only are they intuitive, not only are they smart, but they're fun people, and they know how to have conversation without making no one feel disrespected. They're very respectful guys.
Right. And that's what I found, and so much knowledge in there. And so I learned a lot through that. And by all means, we don't have all the answers to things. We just look at things from our perspective, or we pull from whatever experience or history we may have experienced, we may have, so just, I love that we all collaborate. That's where I started from before I joined you guys. So, you guys listened to me and gave me, you would put my post up there, and I was like, oh, wow, they think I said something decent. I was a little surprised by that, but so I really love the chat. I really love the panel. You guys are great. Everybody brings something unique. I just listen to everybody, and just again, thank you for having me. And yes, you guys will always see me around the different podcasts. It's just no set schedule. But thank you for coming here. And my little encouragement for today is,
yes, go ahead, Dia.
Think about the games that are coming out and be excited for the future of Xbox. It's a new era, not just for Xbox, for gaming in general. I do believe that Xbox is going to become the true de facto leader in the gaming industry. And if you like what they've been doing now, you're going to love gaming in the future.
Yes.
So that's what I want to leave you with.
Great, man. That is great.
Outstanding.
Great, dear. Great. And hey, and I wanted to chat. No, hey, we ain't nothing without you guys, man. All you support you gave in me and E-Rock, He-Bot, Unlimited, all of us, 100, everybody, man, even our brother Tuck. We really appreciate you guys always coming in and rocking out with us, man, chopping up game. We really appreciate it, man. And we just we're very humble about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we're gonna get out of here, guys. We are the outlaws of Xbox, man. Peace and love. Xbox for life. We don't die. We multiply. And remember, baby, we're eating good over here. And oh yeah, Dustin Legary, brush your goddamn teeth.
Oh, damn.